Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. However you happen to be listening, I want to welcome you to the latest episode of the Gaming Circle podcast. Also live on the gamingcircle.com right now. If you're checking it out from there, I appreciate you being here. I'm your host, Mr. K. Asante, TKO Asante on all the platforms we communicate. And yes, I am joined on time by my brother from another mother, the man who is leading that Christopher Columbus movement, Mr. Everborn Saga. Good morning, sir.
Several movements right now.
Several these days. Yeah.
Right. I took the plunge into one of these ARM on Windows PCs. You know, I'm singing those praises. By the way, I said last week that you don't play the Russian roulette when you open it. You know, they put out an update, and every now and again I just open the lid and I'm like, why am I seeing a Windows logo? You should just go back to where I started. And it's doing that same old Windows stuff. So but you know, the point is, maybe they did it so that it could act more like Windows, right?
Because look, man, Windows is their selling point. Whether you want to be the one buying it or not, they're still selling you Windows. So as long as it works better, you know, as long as it works optimized in an optimized way, I'm okay with it, you know. But go ahead.
I mean, we're going right into it. Whatever. I'll bring it back in. But I remember the situation I had last week. Mono game, couldn't get it to build. My very specific situation. Got it to work. Because the awesome people in the mono game community, Eris Turtle, who hopefully we'll get on at some point on the show, but he helped me compile some of the DLLs that I needed for ARM. And again, I want people to know, unless you have a very specific development situation like I did, this is not going to be a problem for you. But he did help me compile a couple of DLLs that were required in order for me to build. And so now I'm using this as my full-time like development machine. I don't even have to come back into my office on my Intel machine to do anything.
Nice.
So very excited about that.
Gentlemen and ladies, we are going to get into it. We're going to talk. We're going to talk about some games. There's going to be we're going to have some special guests. Obviously, as the thumbnail implies, we will bring on the Viking and take him to task for his blasphemy. But before then, we are joined by many guests, other guests on this show, because, you know, as you know, this is the Gaming Circle, and anybody who's in that circle is allowed to jump back in whenever there's some interesting topics to discuss. We love this man whenever he's able to jump in and give us some of his thoughts on some of the moving and shaking in the gaming industry. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Game Logic. What's going on, sir? Good morning. Welcome to the show. Oh, and he is frozen.
He might be frozen.
He is frozen. He is frozen, but we will get him in here. He is here. He might just need to reconnect, but it's fine. We'll get him in there. But yes, thank you to all the fine folks that have jumped in already. Our chat is growing, and as is the viewership. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hit the like button if you haven't done so. Consider subscribing. As we do here, we love our members. So Everborn Saga, if you're ready, I will turn on the members and you will read them if you can. And that will happen right now.
No, it won't happen right now. We're going to wait till it loops, and then it will happen.
I just started it. I got to wait till it loops.
Because it started like all the way to the left. Like
in the middle. Yes. I understand. And you can interrupt me, and we can get that thing started.
We got so many members now. It's hard. It's
getting there, right? It's super interesting. Yes, that's right. So I will warn the members. I'll warn our people today. We're trying to keep a more concise show because life happens, and I got some things I got to take care of in the house today. So maybe 2.5 hours if I'm lucky. You see how the voice rises, because I'm not sure.
K. Asante, I will warn you that we say this every week, and then we do a 4-hour show. But we'll see what happens.
Stop it. You need
to cut the show as soon as there's some dead air. That's it. You take too long to respond. Credits roll.
Sure. Understood. Before we even get rolling, and Game Logic will rejoin us momentarily. First super chat of the day, the great member of the community, Mr. MJ Dark, always prolific, and he super generous with a $20 super chat. He's here. He says, sent from Copilot. Halo does not need to retire, Master Chief. Instead, it could benefit from a reboot that keeps the chief while exploring other genres and stories. I still want John 117. I have a feeling that last statement might need a pause. Right. Good morning, gents. Have a great show. Thank you so much, sir.
Fantastic super chat, and it had no Sonic or Sega slander, so like that made it.
Now you're bringing yourself to the table.
But that's besides the point. It is time for me to read the thing before I lose the thread again. Mash, Corey Cosmos, Roshan Eppinger, Spartan 661, Blue Arrow, Michael Santiago, A. Rodimus, Silver Weed, Chris Coleman, Andy B. Drumming, Isaac Hayes 85, Day Rizzy, Big Poppy Senpai, Stilo Fax, Dorian Gray, Rick L, Arthur 1, Ozzy Fan 80, Focus Active, Fred Gurion, Jagger 0718, It's Me Timmy V2, Big Bad Mo, Sir X-Man, Kingsley Justine, Derek Johnson, BT Maverick 707, Blue Moon FC, Gamesley, Dr. Dry Rub, wow, Parasite 82, Green, got that the first time, Xbox Expansion Pass, Drake Williams, The Black John, Soul Tech, Mr. MJD, Bounty or Bunty, Zach Riley, Floodzilla, DLJ Plays, Captain Chats, Adidas 20, That Blue Number, L. Paul, Leonard Herrera, Sith Lord, Infinite Umbra, Guess Who 107, Dave Ramos, Basement Radio Arcade Brap, Slow-Mo Backslap, JD Gamer, Neo Mental, Pixelbit G, X John Wolf X, Hargeet Chani, and the one and only J Mac, Gray Beards of Gaming, and another one for MJ Dark.
Thank you, everybody. The list just keeps growing. I'm sure if I update it, it's probably grown a little bit more. You guys are amazing. We appreciate all of the support. Thank you guys so much. And of course, you asked for it, so now he provides. MJ Dark with a $2 super chat saying Sonic needs to be retired. If anything, go Knuckles. You see, you asked for it, sir, and now you get that. Oh,
listen, it's not called Knuckles and Shadow or Knuckles X Shadow Generations. It's called Sonic X Shadow, okay?
I mean, to be fair, one of the best shows I've seen recently is the Knuckles show, and it barely has Sonic anywhere on that. But that's a different conversation. Let's keep it moving. Some stairs
would not exist without the Sonic movies, but okay, sure.
Some stairs would exist without the Sonic movie. Calm down. Some stairs with a $2 super chat. He says, "This is my first super chat ever. Thoughts on Cap 4?" Oh, sir.
We're going to have a section for that. We're going to have an on the real section because there's some things we have to talk about. And what that will be surrounded around is the MCU back? Because I cannot tell you that I felt this level of hype for an MCU anything since like Endgame. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's Endgame level, but I'm saying I just have not been hyped for anything post Endgame. And this has the hype feelings of they got 2 movies that's on the way and they both look good.
Look amazing.
That is something that hasn't happened in 4 years.
I'll pin your super chat. I'll still keep it there and I'll bring it back when we're talking about it. But yeah, man, appreciate your support. It is something to discuss because I too kind of got caught into that hype. I got caught into that thing because it looks really good. We'll talk about it. But okay, before we get into all of that, and we'll be joined momentarily by our guests. We'll start with you, Mr. Everborn Saga, being that this is how we usually start the show. With the games we've been playing, sir. Anything on your radar? Anything that you've been keeping busy with this week, sir?
I played maybe another hour of Still Wakes the Deep, but I haven't really gamed it all this week. It was all about getting the game ready, but I can't talk about that if you want to hear about it because
please.
There's a whole thing going on. So, like I said, there was the 2 fronts I was battling on: getting the thing to work to compile on the ARM PC, the new Surface, and then just like working on the port itself. So I was doing both all week. Halfway through the week, I got some help from the Mono Game community. Shout out to them. So I can work there, which means I can work on the game in bed at night. That's what this laptop is about. But what I'm doing now is I am adding controller support to the whole game because it was initially designed as
a touchscreen.
Yeah. So And the way that I have to rethink all of that, and I'm fighting myself, right? So this is the game that I coded this whole thing myself. There's tens of thousands of lines of code, whatever. It's not a lot, right? You format properly, you get 100 line of codes, right? It's not that big of a deal. But what I'm saying is I taught myself how to code with this over a decade ago, because I started on this in 2012 and then released the
so
game
you see a lot of the crap that you used to do that you thought was cool.
God.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
If I spend the time to refactor it to today's software engineer mind, Everborn, who's worked in enterprise for nearly a decade, I'm gonna spend the next year just refactoring before I get to anything. So I'm fighting myself not to refactor the whole project and just add the things I need.
Push it forward.
And right, because the thing it's a working product. I'm just adding controller support, and then I'm gonna add scaling so that it works on any size screen. And then I'm gonna add so right now, because it was designed for 2015 phones, it was capped at 30 FPS. You play a 2D platformer today, you want it to go 200 whatever your GPU can handle, whatever, right?
So I will quickly tell you that a wise, slanderous one once told me to not let perfection be the enemy of good. I'm just saying.
No. But this is my point. You still have to meet the customers where they are and their expectations. So if perfection was the enemy of the good, then I would refactor this whole project the way I know that I should. So now I have to tie into poorly written interfaces that I created before, and those other things and methods. I have to tie into those and just use that. No, that's how bad it is. I don't mean the AI. I mean my 10-year-old code. But I'm saying all this to say, I have to get it to work not at 30 FPS, right? I can, or even if I wanted to keep the internal update for the animations at 30 FPS, I still have to make it so the input updates are whatever, at least 60, but 90, whatever. It's a 2D platform. But the point is, those are all the things that I have to do just before I do anything related to reskinning and then adding new levels. I don't think I need to add any features. There's a lot of features in this. It's very feature rich. I just played a level that I didn't even remember that I made last night, where there's this it's like a flame, and if it touches you, it will kill you. But every block that when it hits a block, it will break the block, and you have to survive long enough for it to break through to the bottom so that you can exit, right? That's just a random thing you have to do as a level. So in the game, every level is a completely new idea to kind of keep the player guessing. But anyway, the point is, there's enough.
So this was you like showing off your excitement in game design back in the day, and now you're just rediscovering it. What you're saying?
Yes, and I didn't have a job at that time, so
yes. You were hanging out in the basement. I feel you. I feel you.
So, but the point is, I need to get it working, get controller input working, get scaling working, get the clock speed working without breaking other things, right? Because when sometimes you play some of these older games and you emulate them, and they're designed for a fixed clock rate, and then everything speeds up, right? I just have to account for those things, and then I can start with the reskinning and working on adding new levels, because we're adding 40 new levels. So those are all the things that I'm doing, and if I focus on the refactor, that will get pushed out even more. And then you got scope creep, game logic. So, I know you know all about scope creep, but I'm just trying to stay on the consumer's behalf with the bad code.
Speaking on the consumer's behalf here, sir, when do we get this game in our hands? I need it yesterday. Why are you not done yet? You talked about this last year. We saw a trailer for it last year. Come on now.
Wait a minute.
Is this lazy developers?
What you saw last year was the Unity project that is a completely different code base.
Yeah. I know, bro. I'm giving you a hard time right now.
Mono game, because I want to bring that one back while still working on the other game. But because this is like a finished product and I just can add more levels to it, I think to get the soul of Like no one knows why the Everborn saga exists, and it is this game. This birthed the comics. This birthed everything. So I feel it's important to have people be able to have that, and then they'll know what all this came from. So that's what we're doing now. And Lucius Augustus, I did go on because I did my game dev live thing. I did go on for a little bit yesterday, but nobody was there. So then I went offline and I could
see. We got to get notifications working. I didn't even know you went on. That sucks. I would have jumped in.
That's what I've been doing this week. But
so before we continue, let me introduce the man. Of course, we have Game Logic joining us back. Good morning, sir. Let me get your mic check. See how you doing. How's things going today, sir?
We're doing all right.
There
Had
we
a couple
go.
technical things here. Is the mic working okay?
Perfectly, sir. Perfectly, sir. Yes. No, no worries about the technical gremlins. It happens on a Saturday morning. It's all good. That's all good. And of course, we are joined by I call him the young blood, one of the new voices in this here community, who comes here with a shotgun, doing some great things, having some awesome conversations.
I feel like I'm a part of the Fox News segment. I'm the only liberal.
Oh, Lord. Get out of here. Get out of here. So, ladies and gentlemen, the host of the Longhouse Gaming Podcast, the Black Viking, is joining us this morning. First off, good morning. How you doing? And how dare you, sir? All three. if you read the man's article, you know why. We're gonna get into that, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Had a good night, man. Did a lot of testing with the Firestick.
Yes. We'll talk about that. Yes.
And played a ton of Concord.
There you go.
Last night. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah. We'll get into that as well. So. Let's see here. You talked about your games. Let me quickly talk about.
Sorry, Black Viking. When you said that, I was like, so you're like the Cornell West of this panel.
No. I'm the only liberal on this.
No, but Cornell West goes to those places like.
Listen, Cornell. Hell to the no. I have no Cornell West.
Okay.
And by the way, the Black Viking. Paris says, my nemesis is on the show. It's on site in 47 days.
Yo, listen. I mean, we're both full of melanin, so you probably won't be able to see the black eyes after PAX West. So, it's going to go down. It's going to go down.
I want a cameraman to be there to capture the moment y'all meet. This will be hilarious.
By the way, P. Road Desa in the chat says, the joy of finding out what took 100 lines of code should have only taken 2.
Hey man, it's good. It's good.
that has been my life for the last couple of weeks.
They're coming for you in the chat there, bro. It's already started. He said, "Boo this man! Long live Master Chief."
I'm only going to listen to people under the age of 30. All you guys are horseshoe makers, like you said.
Okay. I'm gonna get this man off this channel now because he is now ageist. What are we doing right now? All right, okay. So, all right, before we get into this thing properly, real quick, games I've been playing, and there will be a topic on it as well, but I thought I'd just bring it up. That would be the first Descendant. Played a bit more of that this week. My first thoughts on it was that it's kind of Destiny derivative. It like I see where it gets its influences, but it doesn't do any of them better than they are. But still, as a package, it's pretty darn fun. I've been enjoying myself, even with randos. I've been enjoying myself. Some of the systems on display to me are a little bit unnecessarily complicated. You know, the systems upon systems, the currency systems and things like that. Obviously, it being free to play, they're really trying to get you to buy things. So that's probably why that is. But even without that, I can feel the potential grind of it. Like I can tell you that at some point it's just going to be kind of, all right, you're going to keep going until you get that next piece of that for that skin or whatever, unless you buy it. But in the short term, in the quick, immediate term, I am having fun with it, and I do want to. I might invite some of the guys in the community to see if we can we can squad up and maybe play through this thing a little bit and see where we go. It does seem fun. It's just, again, without that extra element of having other folks join in. you can see it get old quickly. At least to me, I know that I am a minority in it, because I think one of the stories today is that it hit like ridiculous amounts of players at this point. I think 10 million or whatever was the number. We'll get into that. But for me, as a person who prioritizes storytelling, it's kind of a little derivative for me. But it's cool. It's fun. It's turn your brain off fun kind of thing. So I've been playing that. And then real quick, MULLET MADJACK. Now, I know y'all probably don't know what that is. It's a game that basically released on Steam not too long ago. I think it was 2 days ago or something like that. A game of its similar ilk called Angry Foot came out from Devolver Digital. This is the same kind of game as that. Well, same almost gameplay style, if you will. But it's a really interesting, odd game that I think people should be paying attention to. I suspect it'll come on a console at some point. Right now, it's to my understanding, it's only on the PC right now. Another reason why I keep advocating that people jump on PC, but that's neither here nor there. It is a very fun little indie kind of seeming project. You'll see it right now on your screen. It breeds very much. As soon as I saw the opening credits, it really much speaks to your 90s Street Fighter animated movie kind of style. It has the same kind of energy. It has the same kind of art style. You're in a world where you're being watched, and you're trying to quote unquote save the princess while it's being recorded live and other people are watching. And the more stylish you do your crazy kills and whatnot, the more points you're getting. So I'll scrub through quickly and get to some of the gameplay elements so you can see them. But yeah, you're walking around. You got a shotgun in hand. There are robots all over the place. You're literally just walking around like shooting people in the face, kicking them in the face. You know, like it is very hard R, if you will, in its pursuits. I turned on the streamer mode, which makes the blood purple. Otherwise, the blood is red. It is very, very much you're walking through it, almost 3D style. It's a 2D game, but with a 3D
like
element
the Doom,
to it.
the old,
the Doom kind of
OG
engine,
Doom
yes,
stuff. Yeah,
that's right. But it's fun. It's got a lot of really like cheeky dialogue. It's very, very much a tongue-in-cheek kind of game, and it's real fun. There's a lot of whiz bang on the screen, as you can see. You know, it's not meant to be wholesome in any way. It's really good. It's really funny. It's fun. A recommendation from the great MJ Dark. He's been playing this as well. He's like, hey, give it a shot. I'm really enjoying it. It's super fun. So yeah, I've been playing those two things. And yeah, Mr. Black Viking, sir, I too have been playing with what is known as the Fire Stick. I'm actually, as you see, this is B-roll from footage I'm working on. I may be putting that out there at some point. I played a little bit. I played some games, played Control, a few other things, Halo, a few other games on the Fire Stick, just to kind of see how it was. You know, I'm in my kid's playroom over there, just trying to, you know, I plugged it in the back to see if I could basically leave this thing in that room and let the kids kind of use it as their console without having an Xbox there, right? Just to see how it was. But you know what? I will pivot to you, sir. I know you've been doing some testing in that realm as well. What have your thoughts been? What games have you been playing? Let us know. Oh, and you're on mute, sir.
All right, yeah. So the reason why I picked one up is because I get confused with the messaging, as always. Yeah. The no console required, or no console, no problem. So I was like, all right, so who is this actually for? It's still in beta, right? After 5 years still. So like, are we really pushing this as a company over your console, where you get the vast majority of your profits, right? Yes, understanding. Here we go. So I found I tried to look up what the median download speeds were for average Americans, which is 240 megabits per second. I found a spot in my house that was like that as well. And I tried it out. For slow games, it's okay, right? The resolution, I don't know what resolution it's at. It's
720p.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And then on a 55 or a 65 inch TV, it ain't it. So this would work really good for what do you call it? A handheld. But as far as it being on a big screen TV, it just doesn't work.
So far, you're not impressed with it.
No. Huh? And then, like, you know, you want it for your kid. Like, my kids play a ton of Minecraft, right? Minecraft isn't on there available on the cloud, right?
It's not?
No, it's not. I tried to look it up, and for some reason, it was not there.
That is odd.
Yeah, so Minecraft Dungeons
own Minecraft. These are the things that make you scratch your head.
Yep. So I looked up. So I typed in Minecraft. Minecraft Dungeons popped up. Minecraft
Dungeons is there.
Legends popped up, right? But regular Minecraft is not available for cloud on there. So that's a head scratcher. I tried to play a little bit of Fortnite. Latency issues were too crazy.
And by the way, Paris is correct. It can do 1080p 60. What I think though is, and I need to still play around with this a little bit. It depends on the game. Some games are basically when you hit play on a game, you're playing on a console in the cloud, right?
Right.
If you're playing on a console in the cloud that's a Series S, you're getting 720p. If you're playing on a console in the cloud that's a Series X, you're getting a 1080p 60. But even there's obviously some compression that happens and things like that. The games I were playing, I think Control was at 1080p. I did put some calculations on the screen to see how it was. But to your point, it ain't hot. Like it's not ready for that solid performance. It really it does leave something to be desired. But yes, Paris is correct. You can get 1080p 60 in cloud gaming. Go ahead. Yeah,
and I also think that like first impressions are everything, right? Because like as soon as you boot it up and somebody because this is what I'm assuming, and what some of my co-hosts also say is that, well, this is for people who can't afford a console and they just want to play, right? Because like I think the messaging should be that this is a great additive, right? To your ecosystem, not to replace the whole thing or just go solely in on this, right? That's my opinion. And then while playing it, that's what it should be. You know what I mean? Try to play Fortnite. Latency issues were pretty crazy. And mind you, I'm playing in a spot in my room or in my house that is 240 megabits per second, like right on the nose, which is what the median is for US citizens. So I don't.
And by the way, a factor that most people don't consider that always tends to also be a part of this equation is if you're in your living room, you got your speakers on your left and the right. You maybe have other equipment there.
Right.
All that kind of plays against Bluetooth signals, right?
Yes,
it will work.
Yep.
But it all counteracts a little bit. And these I know that they limited it to the latest and greatest, a certain version of the latest versions of the Fire Stick. But how powerful are those Bluetooth radios? How far can they go before they start experiencing some degradation in quality? All things I'm still kind of testing out, but I too had a mixed experience with it. Please keep going.
But I also thought, I was like, okay, this might be actually pretty dope. Like before I was testing, this might be actually pretty dope to like, you know, I'm going to PAX in the end of August, right? To beat up Paris. But it'd be cool to bring that into the hotel, plug that in, get on hotel Wi-Fi. But hotel Wi-Fi is trash.
Yep.
Right.
Indeed,
so
it is.
So it's going to be worse than my 240 down that I have in my room. So there goes that theory, or that like I guess it's not a problem. Like it's a great additive, right? But the problem to me is the messaging is like, who is this for? Like if it's not for your existing ecosystem users, but you're trying to push it out to people who don't have your console or not in your ecosystem, right? And it's subpar at best in performance.
Well,
now
so
I will add real quick, Everborn. I'll let you get in, but I will add that this device does have another additive feature which some people may not be used to. If you're a PC gamer,
I will continue. I don't even know where I am.
Oh, let me turn the volume down there. You can actually remote into your own PC and play from there. Now, what you're seeing here is 4K 60 locked from my PC to the TV because it's local, right? And it works pretty damn good. There's my Elden Ring boss right now.
Wait a minute. Did you record this? You recorded this whole thing?
I recorded this. Yeah, this is me. Yeah, I'm working on something for it. Yeah. But this is literally just
yet?
Not yet. No, this is footage that hasn't been edited yet, so I still gotta deal with it. But yes, this is
this is pretty good, man.
Yeah, right. It's pretty cool, right?
No, I'm just saying, like, it looks professional, like I was watching it on The Verge or something with all the other setups.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, that's real. That's real nice.
Man. No, we stealing somebody's content, and it was your content. God damn.
That's all me right there.
All right, sir.
But yes, so this is literally 4K straight from this PC that we're podcasting from right now, but to that screen, and in that instance, it's pretty damn solid, But yeah, the reason why they're selling it, the reason why the Black Viking, to your point, what they're selling to people that, hey, this could be the thing you use for your kids, or the console-like experience for the television without having a console. I don't think it's quite there yet. Right? No. I don't think it's quite there yet. But Everborn, you were gonna say you were gonna chime in on this topic.
To your point about who it's. So first of all, I think job number one is for them to move off of these custom Xbox Series server blades and move over to running these things on their full Azure infrastructure. One, because that could be you basically could have data centers that are closer to people, because Azure has a huge footprint, and how much of that footprint that Azure has those Xbox server blades in it, right? Because how far you are from an Azure data center that actually has the Xbox server blades could play a factor
really matters.
In latency.
Yes, it
but
does.
Also,
100% does,
I have noticed that every cloud gaming solution that is PC based has better latency and higher resolution than and I think it is because they're using console grade hardware 100%. To try to do this enterprise level thing.
And that's why GeForce Now smokes Gamepass at any moment.
Right.
Yes,
and again, they have Azure, right?
Yes. Yeah, but
sorry.
Go ahead. My guess. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Everborn.
No. Go ahead. I'll come back. I'll remember what I was going to say.
Please chime in. Yeah.
So my guess in this implementation is that this is not a direct feed, right? It's coming over. I mean, the app is on the stick, but the delivery mechanism is AWS, correct?
No, this is basically so when you turn this on, right? The what the app is doing on the Fire Stick is basically giving you the browser, like gated browser. The whole thing is just as if you went into www.xbox.com/play. It's not even trying to hide it. It's just a shrouded browser. So you're literally pulling it from. It's a Chromeless browser.
An iframe.
Okay, so we don't think it's multi-cloud going from Azure to AWS to deliver.
No. It's straight from their browser to, and I think even inside the app is Edge, like it's Chromium based. So they're just pulling, and actually that's also detrimental because of that. When you're even navigating around, it's a little hitchy and a little bit like, I'm not sure if it's smooth. It's not smooth, right? There's always a little bit of that delay. I don't know, Viking, if you experienced that as well.
Yes.
It's not as one-to-one. I'm clicking left. It's not going left. It's taking just a second to hit.
It's about a quarter of a second delay.
Yeah.
Which really matters in games like if you're trying to play. I mean, let's be real. The people who will buy this will want to play Fortnite. Will want to play, probably Halo Infinite multiplayer, like fast games where latency is
a huge
huge factor, right? And my son complains about 50 ping milliseconds on Fortnite, right? So yeah, having a quarter
now
of a
when he
second.
does that, is his pinky in the air at the
Yes,
same time?
100%. I'm like, shut up, okay? Shut your ass. Just because you're getting smoked by some kid in Iowa with 100 ping, bro. Don't be complaining about your 50 ping.
So the other point that I was going to make in terms of what you were saying about who this being for, the strangest thing about the rollout of this thing, and again, I think it's smart. It would be smart if you had the other things sorted out, because being able to get this thing in a Fire Stick that is already in a lot of homes, good job. So
yeah,
A for effort. The problem is, and this is Microsoft fashion, it's the polish and execution of the end result that we don't get. And so, and I say this with all due respect, and I understand they're kind of doing rocket science here with this whole cloud streaming thing. I get it. I know it's not easy, but the idea that it's tied solely behind the ultimate tier, right? Which today is $16.99. Last year was $14.99. Tomorrow it will be $19.99, right?
If there is no one bit of smoke, sir, if there's one bit of smoke, I have to give them about all that pricing stuff, and we'll get into that properly. What you're describing right there, that is the kiss of death right there.
Yeah,
right there. What you're just describing right there. That's the only thing that I'm just like, scratch head. You put this out there. You gave people access to it. It's for the person who isn't in your ecosystem, and then you expect them to pay $20 a month to be able to use it,
right?
Like,
but who would pay $20 a month for Game Pass that doesn't have a PC or an Xbox?
Exactly.
The answer is no one.
Right? Where's the tier for the person who's dipping their toe in the water?
There's 4 people.
Where's that tier? Yeah.
And I just think, like, when you're saying no console, no problem, that's fine. Yeah. But you should also say no console, but you need $20 a month. Right?
That's a good slogan. No console, no problem. Where's your $20 a month?
Right? So that to me is, it's just I have no issue with them saying no console, no problem. My issue is saying that and then tying that behind 17 to 20 in a month or two monthly charge. And I would not recommend anyone who's not invested in gaming, right? Because if you're a casual and you're not really invested in gaming, I'm not going to tell you to spend $20 a month on Game Pass. I'm going to tell Black Viking, I'm going to tell Asante, I might tell Game Logic to spend $20 a month. I mean, you should never really spend that, because we've been saying for years, insulate yourself from this by stacking, but we can talk about that later. I will tell you guys, because you guys game all the time and you would get value out of that. I'm not going to tell a casual gamer who's not already invested into gaming to spend $20 a month. Would I tell them to spend $5 a month? Sure. Would I spend even $10 a month? Maybe. $20 a month makes no sense.
Yeah,
they need to have cloud behind other tier.
Yeah, the cloud should be a $7 tier. Period.
Exactly.
Cloud only. Or how about this? How about you just include it in all your tiers, because they're all paying you monthly?
Yeah.
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 But this device is meant for those to dip a toe in the water, right? This device is meant for those who aren't your primary customer. It could be an additive, right? You could be a PlayStation user who, hey, this gets you into that ecosystem. And oh, by the way, you can access it on a browser. You can access it all the way up. This is an additive product, right? But that means there should be a tier for those who aren't, like my sister has triplet boys, lives in New England, right? They don't have an Xbox. They used to have an Xbox 360 back in the day, right? But they don't game like that. They game on their tablets and things, as you can imagine. I would love to go there, provide them a few Fire Sticks, plug it in there, get them some controllers, and say, hey, you guys now have access to Game Pass. But the $20 a month edition, and there's no family plan, right? So they can't roll on mine. That is too much of an uplift. Like, it's almost like they didn't think it through all the way. They didn't step through it as the consumer themselves. so they don't see where the gaps seem to be.
Let
Game
me
Logic.
say what I think it is. I'm actually going to parlay this into a question for Game Logic.
Sure. Yeah.
So what I think is happening, again, this is not our problem at all as the consumer. So let me preface this by saying that. But I think the issue on the Microsoft end is it's not cheap to run these things, right? You have to run it, and it's not like for example, right? We have cloud workloads at my work, and there's certain things that we need to have reserved instances for, and even ones where we have to requisition those servers and say nothing else can run on this server, right?
Yeah,
that is way more expensive than if we did on-demand pricing for our usage, which is your workload is going to run on whatever system we have available, and it could be other things running on that, and it's cheaper because the cloud provider, we use AWS, but they can amortize the cost of running these things by having it always run some paid for workload, right? And we pay for compute in gaming.
Well, to be fair though, and I won't stop you, but to be fair, Amazon's AWS's actual like purchase practices have been a little bit craven in their execution with their damn t-shirt sizes and all this. Like Azure is a different beast because they can roll their own, and the cost to them versus the cost to consumer is not necessarily apples to apples, but continue.
No, sure. Absolutely. I won't deny that at all. And the t-shirt sizes are the things you can't use, and then it forces you into the.
They force you into it. You
need
me, 15 gigs just because.
I have been on some cost control calls that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it does cost them money to run it, and if you're running on dedicated.
Real quick, shout out to the great Mash for gifting 10 memberships to the channel.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much. Thank you. All the folks who get access to it, please thank Mash in the chat. The man is amazing. Thank you for your support.
Blow the horn, K. Asante.
Do we have a horn?
I got no horn, man. You got a horn. Blow the damn horn. So you got to TM that horn blowing.
I'm just saying all this to say it is more expensive, especially because the xCloud service does not charge the users for compute. I'm not going to pay for compute to play my game. I paid for the game, or I paid for the service, right? Yep. And I didn't pay for that service for the cloud access. I really paid for it for the games. And so it needs to be behind a higher price tier because they can't charge you for compute, right? And that's before we get to the fact that the cloud stuff is basically on dedicated hardware, so you can't amortize the cost. You can't have that hardware making you money by doing non-gaming related stuff.
That's right. It can't be used for any other purpose.
It's super expensive in that way, and I think that's why you don't have a cloud-only tier, just because it doesn't make sense financially for them. Maybe it will if they move to PC, but anyway, Logic, what do you think about what I'm saying?
Yeah, please.
And I know I said a lot, but
Everborn Bloviator. What are your thoughts on their cloud on this Firestick and their thought and their rollout of it, and how the consumers are being marketed to it? Is this something that you would be interested in, or you're just like, miss me with that, as it were?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be interested in it, but I'm not the target demographic, right? And I've spent my time, experimenting many years, decades, with low power compute solutions, and spent my time on Stadia, and I did all that testing back then. I did one question I did want to ask, and I apologize. It seems like I'm having some CDN peering connection network issues in my area, so if I drop or something, let me know. Black Viking, when you were testing, I assume, were you able to test it with the Fire TV Stick Ethernet adapter?
No, so that's what I'm going to do today. What I wanted to do is so the average consumer, right, probably will not. But that's why I did the testing with the average download speeds in America, and without Ethernet, right? And in another
it doesn't even
room,
come with the Ethernet adapter
in the
box.
It doesn't.
You have to go get that additional.
It's $15. I have it. I ordered it, so I'm gonna do some testing on it today. But I don't think who they're targeting is going to do that.
No, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just wanted that as a technical data point. I mean, so my interest in it, I mean, no, because like as Black Viking says, you know, and when I tested Xbox Cloud Gaming back in the day when I was messing with Stadia and GeForce Now and all these things, you know, I play F1, right? But from EA Codemasters, I mean, you try and play F1 on Xbox Cloud Gaming, that latency is just like you're in a turn trying to turn the car and the car's turning like seconds later. Like that just doesn't work in Formula One, where it's like super precision is demanded and expected of you. So I'm not the target demographic. I mean, I think the baseline of just getting the service in front of people's face, good, kind of like Everborn said. But when there was a lot of discussion about this, when the initial rollout happened last week, or was announced last week, there were a lot of projections and thoughts of like what this was going to do for the business, right? And I said, you know, I kind of tried to say, time out, like, look at Luna. So back in 2021, I think it was the last time we had Luna numbers, 2021, maybe 2022, there were 270,000 Luna users, right? And understand that everyone on Amazon Prime gets Amazon Luna.
Yep.
The baseline. You pay for Amazon Luna Plus. Amazon Luna is like, I don't know, 16-ish kind of games. A lot of them are free to play, stuff like Fortnite. But you do have things like Metro Exodus in there. So you do periodically get kind of single player narrative story driven stuff.
While you're talking, sir, let me add, because I was going to share this as well. So you remind me. I need to not only share that, I need to let folks know, and I'll tell you why I'm doing it. But yeah, here's Luna. Here's their marketing for Luna. But please continue. Yes.
So when this thing was announced, and like I said, there was a discussion about like it was going to blow up or it was going to move the needle. And I was like, well, we should probably look at Luna, because that's a similar to service that is being delivered to their current addressable market of Amazon Prime subscribers, right? Also, a lot of skating by or missing that this thing was going to the Amazon Fire TV stick, which is 2 SKUs currently of Amazon Fire TV devices, right? So I have the Amazon Fire TV Cube, which is actually a more capable device, but that device isn't getting, right, Gamepass Cloud Gaming right now. So,
which is so strange. So if you go into your app store right now and you search up Xbox, you will not see that thing in the Cube. The Cube will not have it there. I have
not checked. I'm going by what was put out on the ad copy, right?
Yeah, but that's ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
So my thing was, I think what I would do in order to project what this was going to do for the business is I would look at Amazon Luna and see what the uptake was on that, Amazon Luna Plus, and then extrapolate some projection of like what that might do for Xbox Cloud Gaming / Xbox Game Pass. And I think, you know, there'll be some uptake. I mean, because you're asking yourself the question, is an addressable market that has not taken up a similar to service in very large numbers apt to suddenly react to the same type of service simply because it's Xbox, right? Based on solely on the product differentiation of Xbox versus Amazon.
One thing. I agree with everything you're saying. I think people are a little bit overzealous when they did whatever projections in their head that meant. However, I think we do have to factor in the content that Xbox would have to offer versus what Luna would have to offer, because the content is, I think we would agree, especially once you add the ABK stuff, is far superior. And what effect does content have on the uptick? But I still don't think it's going to be you're going to have 50 million people just gaming in cloud. No, but I don't think that's a factor.
What Dr. Dryrub, great name by the way, what Dr. Dryrub right there says also is pretty apt. You can't really use Luna as a comparative because 94%, and of course the numbers probably pulled, but 94% of Prime users don't know that they have Luna music or any of those other features. I'll be honest with you, as a person who's in the know, who spends a lot of time, I sometimes barely remember that I have. What I do recall, like that I have Luna, what I do recall is that their service provides you free proper games, like right now these are the games they're offering, and you can just download them on your service, on your console, your PC, and have them in a separate launcher, not Luna based. This is local, have it on your box, it's yours forever. I come here and I search for this all the time. If you see a lot say collected, because I collect a lot of them, but I never go down here and hit and play Luna games because it's just never been, maybe it's the way they market it, but they've never kind of put that to the forefront and made it enticing enough for a gamer like me to even want to jump into it. Go ahead again.
So Dr. Dryrub's comment actually does the opposite of what I think he thought it was going to do or intended to do. It actually proves my point. If those people don't know that they have Luna, why would you think that they are going to know that they have Xbox Cloud Gaming? And why would you think, and Everborn, I don't disagree with you from a quantification perspective, but again, that base that they're addressing is also not going to know the differential in the catalog between Luna and Xbox. Hardcores do, we do, because we pay attention to this stuff.
Yes.
But again, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get my mom to play games, right? Or soccer mom, or pick whatever demographic you want to that's not core gamer, and those people aren't going to know those things. Maybe they will, because maybe they'll dip in there and like flip through it and kind of channel surf, right? But at baseline, at face value, they're not. But at the end of the day, it's fine that they're taking the service and putting it in front of people. It'll do whatever it does, and I think that's great. If it's vectored in the strategic direction of, hey, let's put the stuff as many places as we can, then it does that. So I mean, there's not really like an argument that it's bad. It's just a matter of what does it take to make the car go fast, and from that perspective, I don't think that we're necessarily tiptoeing on that.
Yeah. Hey, so you mentioned a lot about, and everybody here has talked about, well, we're not the demographic for it, right? But the demographic for people who want stuff like this, we see from Matt Piscatell all the time that top 10 list of games, right? Aside from Fortnite, which latency is an issue, right? And aside from what Call of Duty probably coming, well, not probably, but is coming later this year, which latency will be another issue when it comes to cloud streaming. Most people buy a console for those top 10 games, which is your FIFA on day one, your college football that's coming out, your Madden on day one, NBA 2K, all those third-party games that are not accessible through this app. So who is this for if it's not just an additive to us as already consumed?
They are accessible, are they not? Like through EA Play and all of that, don't they also get access to those things if you have an ultimate subscription?
Later, like Madden's on there now after the season's over with, but like day one, like it's not there. You know what I mean? For months.
So one other thing to add to what you're saying, and I feel like we're being super net. I don't think we're.
I don't know. We're consumers and we're judging the product.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Here's another wrinkle in this. We do not know if we're even getting Call of Duty in the cloud. It's coming to Game Pass, absolutely.
That's very true.
But Diablo 4 is not available on cloud gaming, and we don't know, but people assume. I don't know what it happens when you assume, but Microsoft does not own the cloud gaming rights to any of the ABK stuff as a result of what they had to do to close that deal. And so they have to work something out with Ubisoft. And if they haven't worked that out with Diablo 4, which is the kind of game that does not require the kind of latency that you would need for some of these other FPS games, that would work fine in the cloud, right? Yeah. It's a fixed camera angle, right? It doesn't require crazy high or crazy low ping numbers. It would work great in the cloud, but Microsoft has to go license that back from Ubisoft. And will that even make sense? So we might not even get the ABK content to say that will be the draw. And Game Logic, you said they're trying to get this in front of the casuals. Will your mom sign up for this? Even if your mom would, because I don't doubt that your mom might be a hardcore gamer. But is your mom going to pay $20 a goddamn month?
That's the problem.
This goes back to my whole thing, and I mean, for me, this is what it comes back to. And I get, I mean, all these are great questions, and I've said multiple times over the last few months, like in general, I never have any problem with Xbox strategy, right? Like the things that they're lining up to do often make sense. The way those things are voice tracked makes sense. This thing of, by virtue of putting content in front of your seat and become a gamer,
there we go.
I just don't believe in. I don't believe that demographic exists. I believe that I've talked about this at length with some specificity. I just believe that amongst the human race, like there's a maximum percentage you're going to get to of saturation of people who are going to put a controller in their hand and play a game in the way that we do. The reason mobile works and the reason mobile takes off is it doesn't have those type of kinematics that people have to get their heads wrapped around. It's touch. It's, swipe the fruit. It's, draw whatever. I mean, so those types of things work, but expecting that expecting that there's a bunch of latent mutants running around with the X gene behind a bunch of screens that aren't consoles and are suddenly going to become gamers. Like, I just don't believe that that's the case. Not in large numbers in the way that it's being discussed as far as a business base of moving the needle and making Game Pass grow by leaps and bounds.
Yeah. So, well, it looks like Microsoft even agrees with you on that, because remember, for a while, even on this, they have that big initiative to try and touchify most of these games to varying degrees of success, but they have been doing that as well.
Can you search Minecraft on there? Just to double check, because to double check. Because mine's actually popped up saying it's not there.
It's not there. Which is very odd, like very, very odd.
It's your number one. It's legitimately your number one game, right? Like
it's not there.
So, to the point of mobile is gaming, but it is a different market. It's a different demographic. It's a different kind of gamer, and they do require different kinds of games, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think Microsoft, and I'm not saying you're saying this, but I'm saying this to say, for them to reach the heights that they want to reach, it is not only going to happen by convincing traditional mobile gamers to play traditional controller games, right? Mm-hmm. I do agree with you there. Now, there's my separate fascination with mobile being able to handle these games and us as hardcores looking at these mobile devices as general compute that can run our AAA games, but we would still be the same people. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. I think you can bring console and maybe some PC gamers over to mobile when mobile can handle the kind of games they're expecting to, but you're not going to convert the Candy Crush player to a Halo player.
Yeah. Or the Asian player or the Latin American player, right? Because remember, there's also a geographic spin on this too, where those countries, which are the largest countries in terms of demographic of gamers, right? So by geographical regionality, right, your largest numbers of gamers are, if I remember the stats correctly, are in Asia. Latin America is like second or third. So by revenue, like it's us and China. But when you look at numbers, it's different regions. And one of the things that I keep saying that, if Xbox wants to make these pushes, it's got to get its head wrapped around, is it's got to put different content in front of those people's faces that is culturally relevant. And one of the examples that I point to, again, this hasn't been done, but just as for example of the type of challenge you need to surmount, The Last of Us 2, right? Very big popular game, game's done well, critically reviewed well. The key things that happens in the game is the hobby, the side thing, the interest rate of a lot of the characters is they play guitar.
Yep.
A character playing guitar has zero cultural relevance to a gamer in Asia. And so if you're going to talk about building a type of game that you're going to put in front of those people that's culturally relevant, it's not going to be the type of content that we're building in the West. And you've got to tackle that problem as well. If you want to go big and you want to get big numbers and you want to hit and address these markets that are not being addressed by the console gamer market. instead of, and I don't disagree with you, Everborn, like you can probably get a PC gamer to play a game that they're accustomed to playing on mobile. But again, that goes back to the same thing that a lot of people have been saying, which is you're just selling more of the same stuff to the same customers.
Facts. And to add on to, I don't mean to keep on adding on to this shit,
please
but
go.
But also, like, the reason why streaming for other mediums work, like movies and TV, is because it looks native.
Yes.
Right.
Native enough.
Enough. Like my friend could probably tell if it's if it's upscale.
I will not be watching The Matrix on Netflix. Okay, calm down.
Yeah. I got you, but it looks native enough. Now, when could you imagine you have Netflix, Max, and let's say somebody else comes out with another streaming service, and it looks like it's 1080p and you can see the pixelation and the audio's not synced with the characters' voices. Like, they're going to turn, like, first impressions are everything, man. Right? And people are used to native gameplay, and whenever they are not, because you're marketing this to people who don't have a console or a PC, which is I don't know those people that exist.
It is
I don't
Mikey, but hold on, just think about this. I hate to keep coming back to this. Why would you you don't have a console, you don't have a PC, so you have no other use for this thing, and this like latency ridden pixelated 720p 1080p thing, you're gonna tell people that is worth $20 a month?
Yeah. Oh, not only that, right? Is that you're marketing this to somebody who doesn't have a PC or a console, which means they don't have a controller. So now you got to go out and buy a $60 controller on top of your $35 Firestick TV. On top of, if you want to have good speeds, another Ethernet cord, which is another $15. Just wait till Christmas, you'll get a Series S for $150. You know
one thing, Viking. That's one thing that once I started playing with the Fire Stick myself, I thought, hey, that might be something interesting that they look into. Like, as we know, it looks like they're just kind of hodgepodging this thing together. But there is a world where if they see that there's value in it, you bundle a controller, you bundle a 3-month Game Pass sub in addition to this Fire Stick. Call it $99. Right?
You think Amazon will let that happen over Luna? To advertise it over Luna?
I mean, Amazon is trying to sell whatever they can sell where they can sell. Because the minute you sell them this Fire Stick, you're basically selling them the Amazon ecosystem in addition to Game Pass, right? So that's the reason why they're okay with it. I mean, I don't think Amazon will be full bore trying to promote that, but they'll leave you, Microsoft, to do that. But there's a world where that potentially could be an interesting prospect, right? Provided that the technical limitations are kind of being able to be traversed a little bit. Maybe wink, wink, nudge, nudge. When you have a future where there's a controller that's able to connect to the cloud streaming environment, to the data center directly, versus the Bluetooth thing, maybe that then becomes your package for your accessory consumer or your consumer that needs Game Pass as an accessory. Now, of course, in that world, I still agree with you guys that there then needs to be a tier specifically for cloud gaming that can be leveraged with this thing, which currently does not exist. That $20 thing is just not going to be what moves the needle there. You know
$7, man. $7 top.
Yeah, I would think so. Oh, I see a couple super chats. Let's catch up with them and then we'll get back to this conversation. Risk it for the biscuit with an $8 dues from Australia. Yes, the $1 dues. I love when they say that. He says, off topic, bro. Concord is actually good. Need some TTK tweaks and balances. If it ain't free to play, though, they killed it needlessly, at least on PC/PlayStation Plus. Quickly, Mr. Black Viking, I know you said you've been playing it a bit more. You want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah.
Do you think that the fact that it's free to play, that's not free to play, is the kiss of death for this thing?
Yeah, I honestly think so, especially amongst PC players, right? We live in a world where battle royales and hero shooters are free to play. What I think they should have, and the game is fun. I'm not going front. Like, I enjoyed my time playing with it last night. Played about like 15, 16 matches. It's a lot of fun, and the characters are well done as well. I agree with Risket on the TTK. What they should have done, in my opinion, but I don't. This was the publisher's decision, right? Is to have like a founders edition that was $40, and you unlocked all the characters. You get a year worth of battle passes or whatever that might be. For the monetization kick, and then make it free to play with only 4 characters unlocked, and everybody else has to grind those characters out. That would have been the best way, because right now you are telling people you have to spend 40. You can't just tell a friend like, yo, hop on Concord, like just download it, just like any other game that of the same ilk. You're telling people it's like, yo, you should get Concord. Yeah, well, it says it's $40. Like, people are gonna be like, what?
A free to play $40 game when First Descendant is out here taking up money. Yes, absolutely. 100%.
But I mean, to be fair though, right? I think you can solve that with good gameplay, because Helldivers 2 was also similarly priced, and it did extremely well, right?
Well, Helldivers 2 was more PvE, right?
Okay.
So there's nothing of that ilk that states what that price should be. Like, consumers aren't trained to say PvE games with your friends are free to play, right?
I mean, to be fair, First Descendant says hello, which is a PvE game.
That's true, but there's other games that are $40, $70 that are PvE that do that. And then Helldivers had its own little marketing, of it hit the zeitgeist, right? Concord, however, is just another hero shooter, right? With more cinematics, right? And it's the only game that I know that's a hero shooter that costs money just to get in.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that they're shooting themselves in the foot. As good as the game could be, gamers will be turned off by the fact that that it costs money just to play what should be a free to play game.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. And shout out to Risky for the support. Appreciate you, man. And the great Sith Lord, who's been a member for 3 months, he says, my man, Black Viking, awesome article on the Gaming Circle blog. Sir, we're going to get into that one.
Yeah.
It was well written, even though the context is a little blasphemous. We'll get into that. It's good. All right. And then Danny Passion with a $2 super chat. He says, why are we talking about mommies here? Because, Everborn was talking about how he assumes that Game Logic's mom plays games. Hey, man, mommies can be gamers. Calm down. When I talk about muscle mommies, that's a whole different conversation. Black Viking will take off his glasses at that point. Anyway, the great Eric Jackson's in here. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. He's here with a $5 super chat. He says, we are from the time and generation when our moms called all of our consoles that Nintendo. Oh yeah, absolutely. Turn off that Nintendo. I'm like,
Mr. Jackson, my mom called it the Sega, because that's the one that she bought us, and everything was a Sega after that. It didn't matter. We was in PlayStation and OG Xbox days. It was all the Sega.
Absolutely.
For like a decade.
Turn off the Sega. It's a PC, Mom. No, it's a Sega. Absolutely. But yes, thank you so much for your support. Indeed, we are from that time where it was a box, and I've spoken about that. We're from a time when the box was a bespoke thing that delivered a thing. Now it's just a marketing term that they're trying to keep around, right? Consoles, PC. Let's be real about it. It is what it is. But okay, let us move on, and let's quickly, before we, I want to really dive into Black Viking's article a little bit. But before we do, I want to talk a bit more about
of the Master
his betrayal.
Chief? Is that
his betrayal? Okay. His betrayal. Yes.
The blasphemy.
Let's talk a quick bit about First Descendant. And as much as people are like, and even I am like, from a review perspective, I'd be generous and give it like a 6.5, right? But it doesn't matter what the reviews are. It's selling. It's making money. I know people who are buying skins, and it's reached 10 million users in 7 days. Are we a glutton for punishment, ladies and gentlemen? I'll start with you, Game Logic. Have you played this game? Are you interested in this game? And are you surprised that it is at 10 million views users right now?
And this is First Descendant.
The First Descendant, yeah.
I have not played this game. I'm looking at the Steam user community reviews, and it is not. I mean, looking at those descriptions, it's not doing what I would need it to do to, again, cause me to get down out of my seat and stop playing other stuff to go play it. I mean, it's always enjoyable when these games take off, right, and do well. But I hate to sound cliche for people who have heard me and listened to me or heard me on other podcasts, but this is one of my cliche statements. Like, pump the brakes on any feeling of the game hitting a metric of success until it's been out for 6 months for a game as a service game. Like we get super happy about Power World, we get super happy about Helldivers, we get super happy about the finals, right? Which is a great example of a game that's fallen off. Like, these things, you don't know whether or not they've stuck the landing until they've been around for 6 months, until they get into, in my feeling, their second iteration of seasonal content drops or big content drop, because everybody responds to the first one, right? Because it's the first drop. What you should watch is monitor how they respond to the coming of the second one. So, I mean, I hope it sticks around. I hope it finds traction. It hasn't personally done for me what I would need it to do. I've got other things that I'm sticking with for right now. But I'm glad to hear people are playing. I'm glad to hear you and Slow Mo and other people are getting into it.
I wouldn't say getting into it. I'm trying it because, like, I'll be honest with you. Like, before I went to LA, I got access to the demo. I was like, okay, I'll give this a shot. I played on a handheld. I was like, this is a derivative Destiny clone with combat that's just not quite there yet. But then again, it may have been an older build. After I come back and it comes out and it's free to play, people are like throwing such hyperbole at this game. I'm like, okay, I'll give it another shot. My thoughts on it still hasn't really changed that much. It's tighter. The game itself is cleaner. Graphics look great, but there's still a lot of systems upon systems that are just so superfluous and unnecessary, and the grind and all of this. So I'm still kind of like, okay, I see why people are liking it. It's maybe a turn your brain off and enjoy yourself kind of thing. But yeah, maybe that's what it is. I don't think this will become what Destiny is. But to your point, I really do agree that these days, when you see a game come and hit as big as it does, maybe wait till the review on the second or third season before you solidify it, because that could change a lot on the ground. Black Viking, I'll get your. Okay, please go ahead.
There could be some inflection points with this, given the type of game that it is, right? Because we go back to Destiny and Destiny 2, remember, right? And Destiny hit a big inflection point with the Taken King.
Yeah.
Right, the drum beats and the volume just got loud, raucous, right, and how people responded to that.
And then it went high, and then it went low, and then it went high, multiple times.
Yeah, and then Destiny 2 it was all just kind of right until Forsaken, right, and then that got everybody pumped up with so.
Yeah. So before I get your take on it, Black Viking, because as again I say, this is the gaming circle, and we always enjoy multiple voices to join us and give their takes. Man, ask for a link. Mr. Hargi Chani.
Hargi. Hey. Yo.
Morning,
yeah, I know you kind of moved on to this.
Oh, yeah. Please, quickly, jump in.
I wanted to go back to the cloud thing. And
okay.
One of the things that, we had a discussion about this a while ago where I'm like, I don't see the point. I just don't see the point. Like, I've looked at it. I'm just looking at the pattern of who are they going to acquire as a customer that isn't already a customer? Because that would be the whole bloody point.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: you buy a Fire Stick, so Black Viking, you bought a Fire Stick.
Yep.
The people that have one, are they gonna have a controller?
No.
More
than likely.
So the first barrier of entry is, I download this app. Now what?
Hey, I've seen a lot of people get their Fire Stick and then grab a DualShock 4 from a PS4 tether. And to their point, shout out to them. They allowed them to do that. Yeah,
so but if you don't have a console, now you have to go figure that out, right?
Yeah,
because they're trying to acquire a customer they don't already have, right? To convert somebody from PlayStation to Xbox is a different thing than trying to acquire a new customer, because that was the whole point of cloud, right? You go to the customer that is not going to game because they can't get the console, right? And that customer is likely not going to spend the money because they don't want to or can't, right? Those are the two
but
options.
Hargeet,
Right?
why must it be one or the other? Why can't it be, hey, I'm a PlayStation gamer. I chose to be a PlayStation gamer this time around. I've enjoyed my ecosystem, but I hear there's some interesting things there. I will buy a Fire Stick in order to tap into that
what
market
would those
and
interesting
use
things
my controller.
Because the focus of a lot of Xbox games is what? It's shooters, right? This is the shooter box, right? Shooters require very low latency. That's just the way it is, right? So what game are you going to play? Like is it Game Logic? I think we were talking about a racing game. That's another big thing they do.
Yeah.
Is Forza. Is that going to work with high latency? We want TVs with sub 5 millisecond latency for gaming, right? We're like, oh my God, it's like 20 milliseconds. Oh, that's terrible. You're always going to have high latency when you go to cloud. There's just no way around it. There's just physical realities.
Well, you're always going to have that latency until the dream comes to fruition. Right?
Yeah.
So this is...
Which would be that the server is right next to your house. Which is not going to happen.
This is the dream that I've been articulating that Phil Spencer started talking about in fall of 2022. It was reinforced by Sarah Bond's interview at the beginning of 2023.
And it costs them a lot of money.
And grab your coffee and pack a bag because we're going to go on a little trip. So what Phil Spencer talked about in fall of 2022, right? One of the key comments that he mentioned was that his desire, and what I interpret as the vision, is that he wants a world where people can play on PC, on console, on cloud, and on mobile, and they can be in communities of gamers, and all of them can play together without any of those people feeling like they're a second-class citizen.
Yep.
And what that means is when you have, right, bi-levels of platforms, that means you've got to do something so that the mobile gamer can play a competitive multiplayer shooter game and not feel like a second-class citizen against, me sitting over here running my 3070 Ti and 64 gigabytes of RAM. And this is one of my backup boxes. It's not even my primary, right? So
this guy, that's the backup.
So that what that means you need to do, and this is what I believe is a big thing that doesn't get discussed enough and brought up to the surface, because we all talk about hardware and services and some other stuff, but what that comment really means is that the inherent manner in which we develop games today has got to transform and become completely different. Because down at the netcode level, things have to change in terms of counter-ballistic arbitration, in terms of TTK, and how all of those integrations happen across multiple platforms. That inherent fabric and the way those things are woven together must change. An entirely different way of programming video games has to be done. And when you take that and then you link it over to Sarah Bond's comments at the beginning of 2023, right, where she talked about what it is that Xbox wants to do, that cloud and a lot of their technology services allow them to position themselves in the market so that they can build tools and utilities and platforms for people to create, build, deploy, operate, and ding, 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 monetize, right, their game in an entirely cloud native manner. That starts to take Xbox and position them to be what I think of as this interdiction platform that is between, and this is a key part of enshittification and choke point capitalism, right? That you're going to have to basically go through them, right, to get to gamers, and gamers are going to have to go through them to get to games. And so when you bring all of that stuff into fruition, you start to get to a point where having, like, playing a multiplayer shooter on cloud becomes a more viable option. So one thing to consider is if this deployment to the Fire Stick and really into the Amazon ecosystem, right, is a seeding, right? If we're planting the seeds for things that will converge with that larger strategy down the road, because then you do the big reveal, you rip the cover off the thing and you say, okay, now you can play, right, competitively with all your other people on other platforms. And it's not a detriment. You're not a second-class citizen. And that may be because putting together a deal like this with Amazon, who's the number one cloud provider, to host a service, well, not a host a service, but to have a pass-through for the number two cloud provider, probably took an extensive amount of conversations to happen, and was probably a good idea for them to get it out there on the street to enable that future strategy later, rather than trying to get it to come in place like just in time, right? You're going to need time, you're going to need collaboration, you're going to need partnerships working through. and you need to put that in place early while all this other stuff is happening in the background if you want that vision of the future and of parity and of no second class citizens to be something that comes into being at the start of the next console generation.
So
but to make that happen, you have to get rid of certain physical limitations, right? No matter what you do, right? Yes, you can do a lot of things in a process in the cloud, cool, but that latency from controller to action that you see is always going to be a physical limitation, and that's a very tough thing to get around.
But to the point that the Game Logic I think is making, and I'll let you get in here, Everborn. I think the point that the Game Logic is making is once you understand those fundamental limitations, you don't develop the way you have been, right? Maybe you go to a hybrid model where some of it is offloaded to the cloud, but the other half
and that was always going to be the answer.
Device. Combine that with a controller that accesses the data center directly without having to go through the Bluetooth method. There are multiple ways, in addition to TVs that may only use the game mode. There are lots of ways, and then that's even beyond talking about how you fundamentally develop the games from a netcode level. All that together may traverse that divide, but today they're just kind of seeding ground as is with the games that won't perform as well, obviously, but they're seeding ground.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Everyone.
Yeah. So just to a couple of points. The first thing about that future vision of what Phil sees for Xbox, I just thought like that sounds a hell of a lot like communism, but that's neither there.
Wow!
But
holy,
you all know I'm right, and that's why you laugh. But the thing is, the second thing is when we talked about re-architecting how games are made at a fundamental level, at the netcode level, I wonder if things like, and I know Microsoft didn't develop this, and I don't think ABK developed it either. I think they got outside help to do that. But COD Mobile, how they're able to do that. And I wonder if the better way to go about this is, yes, the hybrid model that you talked about, Kay, but also saying, hey, the back end is what's going to be connected, right? So when you work on something in COD Mobile, you can level up your weapons in regular COD, right? Or Warzone or whatever. So all those the skins,
the back ends are all tied,
right?
Yeah.
So what if that's more of the future, where at the edge you're doing things locally to the graphics that machine can handle, but all the back end stuff is one thing, one architecture, one set of APIs everybody's
but that's what we're discussing, right? If you're developing it in a hodgepodge, your my way, your way, their way environment today, then you deal with all of these issues. But once you traverse that divide, as Game Logic was saying, and they fundamentally seed like create a new method by which these games can be played by any hardware medium, right? You all can join the same environment. That's what will traverse even the divide that is the technology barrier that is latency. That will traverse all those divides, and everyone can be that same first class citizen. But it needs a fundamental rewrite from the ground up by all parties involved. Right? So, you can't just bring your game and I bring my game and we kind of just hodgepodge stitch it together. No, it has to come with a new development pipeline that takes all of that into consideration.
Well, go ahead, Everborn.
No. I was just gonna say, to me, and Kate, you and I had this conversation about different paths you can travel to get to the same outcome, right? So we were talking about external eGPUs versus scaling tech and NPUs and frame generation and things like that, right? And what is the better thing? What is going to get the most juice from the squeeze in order to achieve that endpoint? So I wonder, can you get to this gaming communism world by
you got to stop that,
doing things? It's going to catch on.
No,
by
it's not.
By doing things.
I hope not.
Basically, your cloud is your service layer, and it's one thing that's handling all those different endpoints. And so a mobile game is still going to be processed natively and rendered.
Good night,
natively.
Risky for the biscuit. Good to have you here,
good night, sir.
Thank you so much for being here.
The PC game, the console game, they're still going to continue to be what they are, but all the back end services. happen in the cloud. So
you know what's
I wonder if
interesting?
That's the better way to go around that.
All you guys, because I don't know nothing about all this technical stuff, right? What's interesting is that you guys are coming up or trying to think of solutions to bring Xbox cloud gaming to prime time. Yet Microsoft is advertising, not you, but like advertising it as if it is ready for prime time. And I think that's my
exactly.
issue.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why I don't like it. It's a transitory thing to do, to say, I'm going to take your entire game and put it in the cloud and have you play, when what we're talking about is a total revolution in gaming, right?
Which would be required in order for it to be ready for prime time.
Right.
Yes,
and to the point of what you're saying, Everborn, right? Like the communism thing, what we really need to do is have the incremental thing that happens all the time. This is what the normal thing is, right? I incrementally change one little thing, and that can then catch on if it actually worked. Right. And that's open market. That's how we do things. Right. There's no way that you're gonna have Microsoft, who is the lowest platform holder, to say, yo, all of you in the industry, you need to do what we do. Okay, they can buy up everybody and then make it happen. Right. Is that going to be the answer? I think the answer is incremental change. And realistically, these things will get enough power. They will get enough power to run things locally. So even your 3070 at some point will be garbage. It just will. It will be garbage, right? Because it'll be a 6090, a 6070, a 7070, right? At some point, that 3070 will fit in this, right? We're already getting phones with 4+ T-flops. We're already getting phones with that much, right? That's a Series S. We're already getting that.
Speaking of that, I need Apple to make a flip phone, folding phone. Apple.
No, you need to get off of Apple.
I don't disagree
it's too
that
much work. I'm locked in.
No, you're not locked in.
That's
like a pony saying, I can't possibly play on Xbox. Yes, you can.
Stop it.
I don't listen. I'm sorry, Logic, and I'm not.
We are not going to adjudicate his Apple slander right now.
It is. You don't understand the social pressure that you get.
Oh, you are just
ecosystems.
You are just a coward, is what it is. Stop it.
Okay,
don't be a coward.
I don't want to get kicked out of all my chats. It's just, and then I'm gonna have to change my watch, and then my TV solution. It's too much. They have. I'm handcuffed to this ecosystem. I don't think it's the greatest.
It's too much.
I'm just stuck.
Yes.
I don't know what.
Woe is me.
Yeah,
right.
Everybody, what you need to do is you need to put one foot in each ecosystem and stay in both.
Thank you. Says the man who walks around with both phones. I need one for work.
Why would you walk around with two phones? It makes
because then I never have to be beholden like a coward to anyone. Like what's going on?
And because we're technologists and the things that we do don't need to make sense.
Well, there you
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Yes. Well, while we're on the Xbox block right now, and I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want to move swiftly along. While we're on the Xbox block right now, let's talk about that damn price increase because I know people want to hear it. I've heard other people's opinions. I don't think I've heard Everborn's opinions on this thing. They rose the price. They raised the prices of all the various things, right? All the various subscription services. Some people think it's terrible. Other people think there's damage control happening. Blah, 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 blah. I told you how to stack. I've been telling you how to stack for a long time. You can still stack. My only problem, like I've just defined, are two specific problems. One, it kind of feels like they're treating console players like second-class citizens a little bit. That's one. And two, where's the tier for the cloud gaming only user? Those are the only thing that's a little bit suspect to me. As far as price increases are concerned, the people who keep saying, "Hey, this means they're not sustainable," talk to me about Netflix not being sustainable. How many price increases have they had already? It is what it is.
Yeah.
To me, that's a non-narrative. That's a ridiculous statement being made. Everborn Saga, are you as nonplussed by this as I am? Go ahead.
Well, I have several thoughts, and I've been compiling said thoughts just after reading different opinions or whatever. So the first thing I want to say is we sell a Charge Them More shirt at everborn.com that you can go and buy right now for the low price of $29.99, marked down from $69.99. That is not a joke. I am very serious. Charge them more. Anyway, that is thing one. Thing two is we should never be in the business of saying, like, even if you don't care, because I actually don't care about this, but don't.
And that Ninja, real quick, that Ninja also has a CEG shirt on there now.
I sure do. You should show it on the site. What are we doing? Show it on the screen. People can see these things.
Oh,
These are very
Lord help me.
fashionable.
The console emotional gamer shirt. You can also be a console emotional gamer.
Consumers, we should never be in the business of patting a company on the back, even if we're happy to pay the price that they're offering. Because you know what they'll do? They will raise the price on you. And they will do it every time. There's the CEG shirt, console experience gamer.
Console emotional gamers. I understand. Go ahead,
that's
keep
not
going.
what the shirt says, but that's fine. You can make a console emotional gamer shirt.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
That's what it is. Again, that is besides the point. This is at everbornsaga.com. Can you put that link in the chat? Because I think people will want
sure.
Now,
Sure.
show them the other one. Show them the.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. Hold on. Keep going.
So anyway. So you should not do that. Do not be in the business of cheering a company on. And like, even if you're fine with the price increase, just put a stink face on so they know, that they're on thin ice, right?
Yep.
Okay. So that's that. Now, we have been saying on this show, I don't know how long we've been doing this show, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
If you find value in Game Pass, you should stack in order to up to 36 months in order to insulate yourself from those price hikes. You should do that, right? And so maybe it could be part of the reason that I am nonplussed by this is because my subscription is not going to expire until sometime in 2027. And even then, I didn't pay $15 or $17 a month for it. I paid about an average of $8 or $9 a month because what you do every year, there's a Black Friday sale. You get a year's worth of stacking. And again, we're going to talk about stacking because they did change that for the console gamers, but we're going to come to that in a second.
Everborn, I don't go shop at places with inconveniently laid out parking lots. I cannot be bothered to stack.
I hear
you. I go to the store where the storefront where the thing is sold. I get the thing. I'm done and I'm out.
Yeah. There are people who also like that. That's right.
You could do that, but that would mean you'd be subject to these price raises. Now,
and that is also your choice. Plan ahead. Yes. That's right.
But that being said, the other piece of it is So I've always been an Ultimate subscriber, but again, I'm a hardcore, and I suspect my price will go up in 2027 to whatever it is at that point. Maybe it'll be $25, and then I'll have to weigh whether it's worth keeping my subscription or whatever. But I think the biggest waves that need to be talked about here is the new standard tier, which is for the console gamers. So if you're a console gamer today, so long as you do not lapse or unsubscribe, you will still get your day and date games. Right now, it kind of forces you to stay in, but you want the service, you got to pay for it. But going forward, the people who either lapse or are just coming into the ecosystem, if they do not care about day and date games, and I can tell you for a fact that they have done surveys about people's interest in Game Pass, and the data that they got back said that there is a portion of people that don't really care about the day and date. They care about the catalog. And so they'll sign up for that. And so they've created this tier for that group of people. But again, I guess I have a question, and I don't know if this is more for the ether than for anyone on this panel. For those that thought the service was unsustainable, it was because fundamentally, I think it's the idea that they weren't charging enough for the amount of content they were offering. Is that safe to assume what the calculus is when people say it's unsustainable?
I would say it's not on PlayStation. That's why they think it's unsustainable.
Hey,
that's literally it. Because nobody actually has any actual math behind it. The reality is it's just a console war bullshit story.
Right, but I would say that to say if you felt that way, right? And if you felt that way, you should be happy that they have a tier that is not day and date, because a lot of people that didn't have a problem with PlayStation Plus said day and date will kill the industry. So now they have a tier, and they're now charging $20 a month for day and date, effectively. Not on PC, but PC is a different story. They'll pirate your games. You can't tell them $20 a month. So, but anyway,
so I do want to.
Sorry, go ahead. Somebody's saying something.
I do want to walk that back just a little. So I think.
So
I think the interpretation of it's not sustainable, and I agree that that's tropish, right? But that comment is not. I don't believe that comment is about a platform. That's a comment about the industry and its impact on developers, and this notion that, in perpetuity, is it sustainable to have an industry business model where games are being put in subscription, deals are being given to individual developers, and is it likely that allows them? And I've commented about this on Twitter, right? It's like you're not going to, actually, I can't remember if I commented this about Twitter or in our DM. You're like, as a single developer, that type of model is not going to be sustainable for you as a studio in perpetuity, right? I mean, we look at Moon Studios, they did 2 Game Pass deals for their first 2 games. Now they're going to another one. And in my mind, it's really analogous to kind of the small business framework that we have in America, where under certain codes, like you can get into the small business program, but then you're expected to eventually mature and matriculate out of it, right?
Yep.
So I think that comment has a
oh no,
platformer business. As I commented before, right? The caveat and the thing that gets left out of the conversation is Game Pass day and date is.
That was the key part of the argument. The day and date
politics and kicking back and forth to turn the spigot on.
Logic. We lost you for a second.
Back up.
We lost you. You said Game Pass is something.
Yeah, I said Game Pass is entirely sustainable for Microsoft, right? And that's the caveat that always gets left out, because all they have to do is handle all their internal politics and have those boardroom conversations happen and land in the direction that says turn the spigot on and leave it on, right? What's going on now, I'm firmly convinced, is that Amy the Hood has stepped into the room and said, "Yeah, we're not leaving the spigot on anymore."
Did you just say Amy the Hood? I thought I heard.
I did absolutely say Amy.
That was very, very good. That was very good.
I have a little bit of pushback on is if it's sustainable for developers. Like, I don't understand. Like, Atlas keeps on doing it, Capcom keeps on doing it. With it. And yes, they're niche games, but I think that's what it's for, right? Like, I think like I know developers that have hit me in the DMs actively looking for a Game Pass deal. Actively. Right? And it's absolutely. Like within the last 6-7 months or whatever.
Viking, I guess I'm curious, do the same developers also look for a PS Plus deal, or is it really just...
they look for a PS Plus deal too.
Okay.
They do. Yeah. It's just money that they can get, because what they're not going to do is say it's exclusive to Game Pass most of the time. Those developers will still be able to sell on PlayStation, still be able to sell on PC, right? They're just getting an extra bag, as you would from Game Pass. I think
it's a risk mitigator.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't think it's unsustainable for developers, right? Like some develop, like Larian, for example. Like, no, our game's not going to Game Pass. Like, they don't need that risk mitigator. It wasn't a new IP, really. Larian's a known studio. And
they're not
Baldur's
a small
Gate,
studio by any stretch,
right? 100%, right? But like, for smaller developers at indie games that I typically probably would never even try because it's $15.99. It makes sense for me to dip my toes in, and then when that's off of Game Pass, and then I can go purchase it for whatever on whatever.
For the dude that made Fading Afternoon, like, Game Pass is the difference between future development 100% being done in the business. You know what I mean? Like,
and that game is amazing. Most must be allowed.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, like, that some of the bigger, and I know this for a fact, that some of the bigger indie developer proponents that have spoken out against Game Pass have actively seek the Game Pass deal. Even the guys that don't like it. Here's the problem: the And if you know, you know. But
oh yeah,
the thing is, I think the idea is if the game, the real pushback is if, and I know we're supposed to be talking about pricing, but I'm going to bring it back to pricing.
Yeah.
If
and then we'll move
the
on. Go ahead.
Game Pass methodology was to permeate the entire industry, if that was the only way that people could consume games via subscription services, then we get to that dystopia where it's all bad. But that is not all of the thing, and it just comes back to this sort of binary thinking of, well, here's a subscription service, it must be the only thing that everyone is going to do. But that's not reality. There are certain games that don't make sense, just like Captain America 4 and Deadpool Wolverine. Disney would be stupid to put that in Disney Plus on day one. But there are other movies that don't have the same sort of brand recognition and same hype around it that do make sense, and they're good for the service and the thing. And I'm only saying that to say, unless the only way you can consume games is these subscription services, the market will define sort of what works best, and people, provided you have good products that people are interested in, they will go and buy those products as they always have. And I'm saying subscription services because one company is doing it, and I know that company is Microsoft, but one company doing a subscription service does not mean the entire industry is going to follow suit. This company can't even get people to buy their consoles. You think that their Game Pass service is going to permeate all of the entire business, gaming business industry and their business practices? It's not going to work. It's not based in any reality other than, like, to me, it's a lot of it is like fear mongering of a future that is not a likely reality.
Well, they look at it and put it in conjunction with other media, right? Like, let's say by way, like Stranger Things box sets, right? Like you know, media has we went full on board with streaming for TV shows and movies, right? And it's getting less and less of the physical media as it is when it comes to buying movies and TV shows or whatever. So that, I think they're putting the two together, but it still doesn't make very much sense, right?
I think
I don't disagree. Go ahead.
All right. So like looking at this like entire thing,
the main thing is
one of the
getting back to what.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead again. Mark.
Yeah, go ahead.
A little bit of latency.
Yeah, so like the entire development arena, right, has started to change because of the industry becoming bigger. And one of the problems you run into is people don't look at things from a holistic perspective, instead say that's our blame, it's their fault, right? It's like, no, you got to slow down, right? And like if look, gaming went from a niche little hobby to this is an investment vehicle. And once that happens, now you have return requirements, right? It's no longer the little itty bitty fun thing that we used to do. Now it's big business, right? Now it's the biggest entertainment vector there is, right? And there's lots of money pouring in.
After Microsoft spends $70 billion, eyebrows are raised.
And that's just one little part of it, right?
One
this
transaction.
Yes. $1
Yes.
trillion ridiculous.
And remember, they had bought $7 billion, which raised eyebrows. And then Zynga had bought, like, I think it was 20 some odd $1 billion, and people raised, and then these guys went 70. So it was like, okay, the industry is now over. Now
it is a big industry, right? And once you get to that thing, right, there's money coming in. What happens with that? Hey, I have an idea for a game. Oh, here's a little bit of money. Go make it. Unfortunately, with that, you also get a lot of failures, right? The reality of any given thing is it scales up, gets to a point where there's too much, and it has to level off. Right. And then it has to stabilize. And we're in that period now, right? Where we have too many games. This is just a reality. How much can we play? We keep seeing more and more stuff come out. And we're like, there's just not enough time. Where do we get the time to play these games? On top of that, we had a divergence into these live service games, which are a big time sink. Right. And a lot of players will just be in those games. How many players just play like
they
Fortnite?
call them black hole games for a reason.
Call of Duty. That's all they play. That's it, right? So they might have 3 games they play, and that's it. How many people just play freaking Candy Crush? That's it. That's all they play. Candy Crush. Fine. That's a game. It's done. That's what they're going to play. That doesn't mean that you make 200 indie games and they'll suddenly play those. They won't, right? This is kind of the world. Now, unfortunately, when that happens, there's going to be a leveling off. And as you've noticed for the last couple of years, there's a lot of layoffs. Why? Because they failed. That's just the way it is. They failed. That's how things go. People put a lot of money into it and then realize, oh, yeah, we kind of went way too far. And the bubble bursts. That's where we are, right? And they want somebody to blame. It's that evil Microsoft. They put that stupid Game Pass there. That's who we have to blame. No, that's not who you have to blame. In fact, they're the ones saving.
You should blame the Series S. That's who you should blame.
Oh yeah, it's the potato. It's the Series S. It's the potato. Like, okay, like stop blaming. Start dealing with the reality that your arena has changed, and now you're big business, and that's just the way it's going to be. It's big business. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be people who come in and fail miserably. There's going to be people who come in and do just fine. That's just the way it goes. With any given industry, you're going to see this kind of thing. And we just have to accept that this industry is that now. And that's how it's going to be. So stop blaming.
I will let you get the final word on this one. What are your thoughts? Oh, and he's a little bit pixelated. Hopefully you can hear us. Oh, it looks like we might be a little bit choppy. Can't hear Logic. Well,
I'll add one little bit then. As far as the cloud thing that you guys were talking about, that middle tier with no cloud is dumb. I don't get it. That middle tier to me is just dumb. I don't get it.
Are you talking about core or standard?
Standard. That middle tier just makes no sense to me, because that's the one you could go and say, hey, I'm going to make that cheap in non-affluent countries and get cloud gamers for myself, right? That would have been something I could understand. They didn't even do that. It's like it's brain dead. That's the one you go after. You say, I'm going to take away day and date. I'm going to take away EA, all the perks and all that stuff, and give you just our games and some other ones, and put it cloud, right? Enable cloud, and like maybe 15 for us. But I go to a down level like a country that's not as affluent and say it's $10, it's $7, it's $5, right? Because you're just trying to acquire customers in that territory, right? That's what makes sense to me. I don't know what they're thinking here. Cloud should have been part of that middle tier to make it make any sense. Otherwise, it just makes no sense to me. But apparently,
cloud you're saying cloud, not multiplayer. They did add multiplayer to the middle tier.
Yeah, finally added multiplayer.
Cloud,
which was good.
But here's the problem with that: if you're an Xbox console player Xbox Game Pass console player today, you don't have the internet. You don't have, what do you call it? So I would presume if you were still subscribed to that and not Ultimate, that you just didn't care about online play.
Yeah, well, so we polled in GTL, we polled, and our small audience, 40% wanted it. 40% liked that middle tier.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You can't. When did you ask them that? Because if you asked them that when they heard it was going away, people always pretend they love some thing when they know it's gone. Look at all the love Hi-Fi Rush got versus how much the sales it got in reality. But I guess that's a conversation for
we asked this Wednesday. Last Wednesday.
Yeah, because they knew they were losing, and they're like,
because they know it's gone.
You wouldn't sign up for that.
No, we asked if you liked the new standard tier. Yeah, if you like the new standard tier.
Oh, you're saying 40% said they liked it.
Yes, they wanted the $15 standard tier, and I'm like, wow, okay.
And also, I we polled the audience of the Infinite podcast for Risk It last night. I was on the show and wanting to ask them if there was a $35-$40 tier that gave you everything, would you want that? Only 20% said yes, but 20% in a whole large
20%?
market,
that's awesome.
Is 20%. I'd be part of that 20%. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
What would you get for this?
What's everything?
This would be Ubisoft Plus, like with the deluxe edition.
Oh, bro, you're
EA
just
Plus.
up there. EA Plus, all that. Yes, I would gladly play.
This would be Fallout 76. This would be the subscription service for Minecraft.
It's my video, exactly.
All
That's
of
what I
them.
recommended.
WoW subscription. Yep.
But for that, if we're talking about EA Play
30,
day one,
35
we're talking about day one, right?
All of them. All of them. Yes.
They want everything.
EA Play.
They want everything.
PS Plus.
The whole
Game
situation.
Pass, Ubisoft.
Yes.
I would
call it the cable subscription.
No, it wouldn't have PS Plus. I'm not going to add PS Plus.
No, get them out of here. Get them out of here.
Yeah.
Because they don't do day one. But
no,
I would
so
pay more than
Ubisoft
$35 for that.
EA Play Pro.
We're talking about everything you can get disparately now on Xbox, but together in one big old package.
Yeah,
Does
that's
it
easy.
include
That's
GeForce
easy.
Now?
$40. Easy $40.
Does it include GeForce Now?
Well, no, these would be companies that they currently have deals with. Because right now on Xbox, you can sign up to Ubisoft Plus and get access to it on Xbox. You can sign up to EA Play and get access to it on Xbox. You can sign up to all the various subscription models from Xbox themselves, as far as ESO and Minecraft and all these other.
I wanted all that.
Combine them into one.
Let me ask you all a question, and this is, I think, the perfect segue to move on from this.
Yeah.
Does Ubisoft Plus and or EA Play offer a day one premium tier?
Yes,
yeah, that's
they
what
do.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Ubisoft
Have
Plus
now,
is
no, wait a minute.
Editions,
Wait a
day
minute. Now, question 1A is: Have you ever once heard smoke for Ubisoft Plus or EA Play?
Nope.
Even once.
I mean,
in all these death proclamations of Game Pass, have you ever once heard smoke for EA or Ubisoft? And they've been had day to day.
There's only one company
that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Well, how people say they will treat PlayStation, they say they will treat Game Pass. That's how I treat Ubisoft Plus. Like I was subscribed. They had a little bit of a drought. I unsubscribed. Now Star Wars is around the corner. I will resubscribe. I will play that. And then if I see a month or two go by and I don't have access to anything interesting from them, I will cancel once again. Right. So in the long run, if they were to roll it all into one big ultra service, they'd probably get to keep more of my money, because then I'd be subscribed as part of Game Pass, a bigger, more expensive tier, and then they could dole out that money to them as well, right?
And
so
they could call it
that might
cable.
be a good thing. Exactly. I said,
all right, let's
do
the super chats and then move on.
Yes,
which is where we're going to end up, isn't it?
Lawrence Davenport becomes a member of the channel. Thank you, Lawrence. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for your support. Mr. Slow-Mo Backslap says, with a $5 super chat, the console, the console, oh my God, communism won't catch on as quickly as CEG has, which means it won't. About TFD, it is not Destiny clone, it's a Warframe clone, and nobody cares. By the way, Destiny is a Warframe clone, right? Even the people who made Destiny
and TFD is the first Descendant, by the way.
The first Descendant.
I had to think about it, so I'm just in case anybody else. Slow like
even Destiny themselves, the makers of Destiny said all they played throughout their development cycle of Destiny was Warframe, right? So it's all derivative of derivative. You know, it's a snake eating its own tail. That's what's happening.
Let me say one other thing about this thing. And I know it's probably to meet the character limit, but like, the first Descendant has not earned acronym status. Okay, you don't just say the TFD and think people just don't know what that means. Slow your roll, Slow-Mo.
And then Lucius Augustus with a $5 super chat. He said they simultaneously believe no one wants Game Pass, while also believing Game Pass has fundamentally shifted consumer behavior. Schrodinger's Game Pass.
100% fact.
Yep.
And this is why I say it's not. This is. Listen, if you want to make a sort of like a theoretical argument about what could happen in a different multiverse, that's fine. But to pretend that Game Pass has the power to change the industry like that, while also
pretending that talk about how it's useless and no one cares about
they're
it.
They're gonna have to go third party and leave the industry, and they can't sell consoles in Europe, and they can't even make a game to match what the other big AAA makers are making. We have to cut that. And I know they bought some big games, but we also don't even believe that the same people saying this don't believe ABK games are going to move.
We're moving on.
Pass. So how could it move the industry? Okay, that's it. I'm done.
Move forward.
Not coming from a real place.
So
that's all I'm saying.
I put some stairs and super chat back on the screen because I kind of want to address that just for a quick moment. Get a pause there, and then we will end with our big topic, which is the slander.
It's not slander, man.
Stop it. We're moving forward. He says, what are our thoughts on Cap 4? And I will take that as a small pause in the middle and talk some movies for a quick moment. First off, have y'all heard that Netflix is kind of kind of saying nothing to see here on the Horizon Zero Dawn TV show.
Yeah.
Did they fall asleep on set? That was for MJ Dark. That one was for MJ Dark. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm dead. It's over. It's over. Wow,
These are the jokes, people. These are the
jokes. Clearly. Yes. They it looks like it was they were pushing, or Sony has been pushing to make this thing a big franchise. You know, I, for one, rare, I know, like the franchise, but not everybody seems to. Some people don't like it. I have many hours in the games. I enjoy it. But it looks now like they're going, oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe they'll move on and not necessarily do the TV show that they were talking about here. I for one, think it's a missed opportunity. I have a feeling that depending on who they put on it, it could be an interesting world and an interesting universe to explore in a TV show format. But hey, it is what it is. Black Viking, do you care, sir?
About what? Horizon?
Yes. And them not making a show.
No. I don't. No.
There you go.
Don't really care.
Go.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Hargeet? Do you care?
Look, and the reason this is happening is because of some issue with the lead, right? The guy that was going to make the show. In a way, I do. It's kind of sad that this is happening, right? Because look, it's a good enough property that could actually make a good TV thing, right? So,
yeah.
Do I care that it's canned? Not necessarily, but I do care that like a good game property that could transition to television or whatever medium is not going to happen because of some stupid thing that one person did, right?
We have good game properties now, right? We have game properties that are actually turning into good shows. This could potentially inoculate or rehabilitate the perception that this game is kind of boring. Maybe you play this a la Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and you give it another shot and go, hey, this is actually pretty cool, right?
So I mean, I'm not going to just ignore it as like a bad thing, but I don't know. I think it's sad that it's going away because of one person's.
Go ahead. What I would say is, it like I do think we've had a slew of very well done video game adaptations lately, and we need some more, because it almost feels like as the comic book movies were sort of getting saturated, and we're going to talk about how we feel like there may be a comeback at least for the MCU, and we'll see what James Gunn does with his Superman movie, but it felt like video games were, it was like Hollywood is like, it's your turn, we got to adapt something, and they were putting more effort into these adaptations, from Edge Runners to Arcane to the Sonic movies to Mario. Wait, what is it? This is what I'm saying. But I see it. They canceled the show because they kept falling asleep during the casting call. Oh, this is for Ayla. That's terrible. But here's the thing. Now, let's say they did the show and the person they cast had the same personality as Aloy from the Lego games. Then they would go back and play Forbidden Sleep, as someone called it in the chat. Those aren't my words. And then that would make the character flaws even more apparent. So maybe it's not a good thing. Anyway, my point is, anytime this happens, it is a kink in the armor of video game adaptation. So I want every one of them to be successful, and I wanted this to be successful just so it gives Hollywood brass
more reason to dip more into that well.
Adapt more IPs that we love. So I want to see these do.
I want to see y'all this is just ruthless this morning. Ruthless. Horizon
3 Z's.
Right? So
ruthless, bro.
But but on a serious note, I want to see every video game adaptation like take the baton from the last one and take
ruthless
it even further.
This morning, man. Ruthless. Says the man who thinks Sonic is relevant. Says Paris.
I mean, the Sonic. Where's Banjo at? There's no Banjo adaptation, is there?
Stop it! Stop it!
But anyway,
just skewering each other right now. Yeah. Well, while you're on that topic, pivot to Cap, man. Pivot to Cap, and I won't show any footage because you know them ninjas is out. Put it to Cap. So what do you think of Cap, sir?
I cannot help but feeling like I got Winter Soldier vibes.
Yes, absolutely.
From that trailer.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
And did anybody else get like turned into Dr. Umar when he said you might be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers?
Yep. I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
But no. I think and we also should talk about this. I put this in the DM, right? And there's different levels to this. Shout out to Doc Dark, but you know, we're just cool. William Hurt passed away, unfortunately, sadly, of cancer, and so he is no longer General Ross. And they just didn't miss a step, and they put a
but you can't compare that guy. You cannot compare, and no shade to William Hurt and what he did and what he brought to the character. But you cannot compare his contributions to the Marvel MCU to like Black Panther and what Chadwick Boseman. You can't. It's not the same, man. You can't make those same comparisons. I understand what they're doing, and I get that, right? I do, but you just cannot. Like this guy in Chadwick Boseman, literally like brought a whole different like a whole set of individuals to this game, to the movie, because of what he represented and how he represented it, right? I had my qualms here and there, but then again, I'm African. But he did such a great job that him passing away was a very much a watershed moment for that franchise. It just was. And William Hurt passing away, while was very unfortunate, and he did a great job in that role. He's been doing it for years. You can transition to another great actor and not miss a step.
All I'm saying,
you can.
All I'm saying is, I have always been, while we love and respect Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. Fantastic super chat, Brap. Everborn isn't wrong.
Read that super chat real quick.
We should get Paris on to come read that thing. Where is Banjo? But anyway,
oh boy.
But I have always been team recast T'Challa. You honor his legacy by keeping the character going. And they should recast him. But anyway, I don't want to make this about that. I want to make this about...
I guess the transition that they did from William Hurt to this one, I can't help but call him Indiana Jones. Like that transition can be seamless because that character was a great actor doing a great role, and now it's another great actor doing another great role. Chadwick elevated that role, right? So you need to at least have a touch point and at least shed a tear for a moment before we move forward. And I agree, we should move forward.
It's time to recast it now. Listen, this Deontay Wilder day, Christopher Reeves is still my Superman, right?
Okay.
Henry Cavill's great. This new guy, I hope he's great, and everybody else that played him. I even remember the Dean Cain shows and the Smallville. I remember all of that. But Christopher Reeves is my Superman. That does not mean you don't recast him and keep the character going. That's all I'm saying. So
look,
if you
I think I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying that they needed a time to pause in that moment. They have paused, and now they should recast.
But the
immediate transition that they did from William Hurt to Indiana Jones is a different conversation than what they did with Chadwick. They needed to pause with Chadwick. They've done that, but now recast.
Yes,
right? And I would say Jaimin Hansu is a really good African actor who you could actually give an African role to. Just saying.
Listen, you know what? Since we're talking about it, right? I had to watch that god awful Bob Marley biopic. Now my whole family is from Jamaica. I understand.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Tuned into the accent a little more than other people, but I was actually offended by that movie.
By the accents, yes. There you go.
It's like you got the whole island of Jamaica, and you can't cast.
You couldn't find a single Jamaican
roles, right? So I understand what you're saying about T'Challa, and I get it. And listen, if you can pull off the accent, I'm fine. I'm not like, oh, you can only cast most of them somebody from the thing. But if you're gonna do a bad accent, come on. And at least have somebody in the room to say that accent is terrible. You can't do it.
It's trash.
But anyway,
That's trash.
Anyway,
Yes. Continue.
again, I don't want to get sidetracked, but back to this. So,
yes,
Red Hulk at the end. Oh my God! Right? The movie's gonna introduce the Thunderbolts, and Giancarlo Esposito, who
he was mean and vicious. Yes, sir.
I recently found out he is Italian and he is not Spanish at all.
No, not at all. Yeah, you didn't know
I
this?
never knew this. This is the thing that I never
yeah.
knew until MJ Dark explained this to me. So shout out to him. But the movie, it has the right tone, and I because in the show Falcon and Winter Soldier, I don't know that I really like the show was fine, but I didn't think
I liked the show. It was good,
but
I
liked it. But liking it and it being good does not mean it meets the level of what it needs to be in the MCU right now.
Sure,
it can't just be another thing that was just okay. Because I feel like the MCU was just there were no real standout horrible films, but it's just been okay since Endgame. And you can't do that with this. So if you're gonna come and you're gonna make another Captain America and you're gonna put Sam Wilson as Cap, and I know this is from the comics, they're not just doing this.
It is very much.
And
from
people are gonna tell you this is woke, whatever. Shut up. It was in the comics.
Seriously,
this is true
Shut your mouth.
to the thing, but we're not talking about that right now.
Like when you see him in full Falcon costume holding the shield, that is literally pulled from frames of the comic book.
Right.
Like
so
you've seen that before.
I'm just waiting for somebody to come out talking about purist and this and that. The pitchforks are up. Anyway, the point is it looks to capture the tone that we had in Winter Soldier. Not even, and again, Civil War is one of my favorite MCU films, but I think in the Captain America trilogy, Winter Soldier was the best one, and it seems like
Winter Soldier was it. Yes.
They're returning to form for that. So what I want to see,
grounded story with a spy thriller with a little bit of superhero-esque.
I don't know how grounded they can be with the Red Hulk fight at the end, or whenever that's going to be.
We shall see.
But
we shall see.
What I'm expecting from this movie is a lot of hand-to-hand combat, some knife work, things like that. And if they can do that and pull that off, I think they're going to knock it out the park. And then we have to consider, this is the first time when you couple Deadpool and Wolverine, which we're getting at the end of this month, and then 6 months later, we're getting this. I have not had this level of excitement for the MCU since 2019.
So they back is what you're saying?
No, well, these have to hit. They both have to hit. So provided they hit, let's go. But I think this is a chance that they have to get back in our good graces to when they announce a film. I'm hyped to see it. I'm there day one. Because at this point, I've just been waiting for Disney Plus when they put something out.
Sure. Black Viking, sir. Your thoughts?
No, I'm really excited, man. I'm really excited for the new movie for Captain America with Falcon taking the mantle now. I think it's gonna be fantastic, man. Everything that they showed me in that was great. But I will say that since the movies have been, okay, right? Some of them have been like really big misses. The shows, however, since Endgame, my favorite one, and Loki was phenomenal, right? But my favorite one was what's the one with Wanda? The first one that they dropped, on Disney Plus or whatever.
WandaVision.
WandaVision. There you go. I think that was by far my favorite one when it comes to an actual show and the plots and the twists and turns and stuff that happened with that. And now Agatha's show is going to be coming out was it this year, right? This October, I believe.
I think they wasted a little too much time. It should have been out already. Like, I feel like they let that thing dry up a little bit. The hype dry up a bit, and now they're coming out with that.
Yeah, but they had so much stuff happening internally.
And then you had the writers and the actor strike, which slowed it down.
True. Yeah, absolutely.
Then I think they're diverting paths now that Mr. Jonathan Majors is no longer the
Let's not.
Antagonists. So there's been a lot of internal stuff happening with all that. So yeah, I think the Agatha show is going to be fantastic this year as well.
Now, Hargeet, am I wrong in assuming that you usually don't play in these waters, or am I wrong? You don't, right?
Yeah, basically once Infinity War ended, right, with End War,
you were done.
Stopped. I'm done. And I really have not even watched movies or TV. Like the pandemic onwards, I'm done. I just stopped.
There you go. He's got games and books that he's writing. You know, hey,
I've got Game Pass.
There you go. So with that as a touch point, I will then move to Game Logic and ask you, sir, and then we'll move on to our big story. Did you see the trailer for Cap 4? What are your thoughts, sir?
I saw the trailer specifically because Everborn retweeted it. And first of all, before we get to it further, something's going on with Verizon and Fios. So
don't even worry about it, man. The internet
I've got their
happens,
number
the world,
today.
you know,
So if I get interrupted, my bad.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, I'm like Hargeet. Like I fell off of the MCU after the Infinity Saga. I tried to stick with it. I tagged onto a couple things. I did very much like Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I liked WandaVision, but I had a really hard time like sticking with the stuff and just kind of fell off. And this was also precipitated by the fact that like I was a huge fan of the CW and the Berlanti-verse, and same thing, like it just got too busy and like I fell off of it. Like so, but I will say after seeing that Captain America trailer, I will be back. I've got a special place in my heart for Sam Wilson as Captain America. I read those comics, and you know I was kept up with those creative teams and stuff. So I do want to see kind of the how that story progresses. So yeah, I'll be coming back for that.
So I'll
call this just one thing?
Go ahead. Sure.
And I said this at the time when Falcon and Winter Soldier was airing. The Captain America predecessor, I can't remember his name right now, the one that they did all the experiments on, where Sam had to
Bradley. I forget his name. Starts with move on. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I think Steve Rogers knew. I don't care what nobody say, whether they put it in canon or not. Right now. That's what you're doing. He knew. That mother effer knew what was happening, and he ain't say nothing about it. But anyway.
And MASH dropping 10 more memberships to the channel.
Very nice.
Do you have the horn there, sir? I need someone to blow a horn.
I got you. That's on my show, baby. That's
you see, we can't use the damn horn. Trademarked. Thank you, Mash. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate
Stop
you.
trying to cover up for Steve Rogers. That mother effer knew. Anyway.
And real quick, we will move on because I want to talk about what we're here to talk about, which I think is going to be a very interesting conversation. For all of my haters of MCU in the chat, on the panel, you can come from it from any angle. I have no issues there. All I will say is, if you still think they are garbage, if you still think they are trash, watch X-Men 97. Just watch X-Men 97 and then tell me they're trash. That's all I will say, because that is also technically MCU canon. So watch X-Men 97. But thanks to everybody who's still here.
You know,
there you go.
Wait a minute.
There you go.
I'm going to have a cease and desist on this episode right here. Okay.
He's got the lawyers out.
John Wolf brought up something excellent. This is why I said it. Steve Rogers is the type of dude to know that Bucky killed Tony's mom and
kept it quiet.
Didn't say nothing. You think he would have said anything to Sam?
Spoiler alert!
Oh, the statute of limitations.
Everybody saw Civil War. It made $1 billion. The point is, if that's what his character is, do not think holding off what happened to old boy is beneath him. That's all I'm saying.
So okay. Before we continue, I will once again thank all the great people here. We have about 350 people, give or take, various platforms on YouTube, on Twitter. I even have a few people watching us through Twitch. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all the support and keeping the conversation lively. We're trying to be like a little contained this week, so maybe we'll get out of here by 3:50, 2:50, maybe 3. We'll see 3 hours. We'll see. But yes. Hit the like button if you haven't hit it already.
Don't write checks you can't cash, Sante.
calm down, man. I'm moving this along quickly as possible. We're doing the best we can. Thank you so much for being here. Hit the like button if you haven't done so.
Isaiah Bradley.
Let's move on.
Game Logic.
Isaiah. There you go. Isaiah Bradley. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's move on to the reason why we are here, which is to call.
Wait, sorry,
the man.
Kay. You saw Isaiah Bradley in the trailer trying to assassinate the president, right?
I'm not sure that was Isaiah Bradley. Different character. Different actor, possible.
No. It's the same actor from the show.
Was it?
Watch
I don't
the
know
trailer
about that.
again. It's
I
the same.
may need to watch that again. Yeah, I may need to watch that again. I definitely will. But we are here to call the Black Viking to the front of the congregation.
Yes.
And have him explain himself. Because frankly, he's throwing out some chum in the waters here, ladies and gentlemen. So for those who haven't paid attention, and shout out to you, good sir. He wrote an awesome article for us on the gamingcircle.com, and I want to talk about it. He is advocating that in order for Halo to grow, and TLDR, but I really advertise that I ask that you go and you read the article for yourself. He's advocating that in order for Halo to grow, they need to sunset the Master Chief. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, you know what we're talking about. We're talking Super Toad Brothers. Screw Mario, he's dead. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about Knuckles' adventures because Sonic is dead. That's what we're talking about right now. This man, and I'm being facetious and ridiculous. He has a lot of very interesting thoughts as to why he thinks that. And actually, believe it or not, in some instances, I kind of agree with some of the takes he's providing, because I've always thought that the through line with the multiplayer versus the single player and the custom Spartans you have there would have been super interesting to thread into the actual campaign, which they haven't successfully been able to do. But I'll let you take the first stab at it there, Black Viking.
Yeah,
tell the people what your main topic of contention here is.
So for people in the chat and for people on this panel, I would like to say, I love the Chief. I love.
No, Halo. You don't.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
I do. What this article is doing is, because I love the Halo universe. Like when you really think about it, I love the Halo universe more than I love Chief. That doesn't mean I don't love Chief, right? What I am trying to propose here is for new audiences to come into the Halo franchise, and for the Halo franchise to be healthy, I guess you would say. We have no idea how many people actually purchased the campaign portion of Infinite. We have none. We don't have. We like.
You think so?
We don't know. We know how many players.
I think it's fair. I think it's fair to assume that if you play the multiplayer, you at least touch the single player. This is not Call of Duty where people just jump into the multiplayer.
Yeah, you probably did touch it, but like more people probably touched it after the Halo show, right? Than whenever it first released. Listen, Chief I think what I'm going after here is Chief as a character and his evolution of a character, right? We talk about internal and external motivations, right? There are a lot of internal motivations, just almost no external motivations, right? We think about characters like Arthur Morgan, Kratos, Marcus Phoenix. All of those are very well realized characters that you love and that you get to see grow in some sort of aspect. They designed Chief to be a husk in a shell, which worked great. I almost flunked out of college playing Halo, right? like those were the days, man, right? But to garner new audiences, what I'm proposing here is to be alongside Chief, right? And create your own character, i.e. a Fallout or a Skyrim or a Destiny or whatever, right? And you make choices within the Halo universe versus Chief is one track minded, right? And it's great. He's a stoic, kind of mysterious character that uses witty one-liners. I need a weapon, that kind of stuff, right? But like as a character, my son he's 15, doesn't give two shits about Master Chief. And a lot of people probably under 30 are the same
I think
way.
that's bad parenting, but that's neither here nor there. Continue.
No, it's not bad parenting because we play Halo all the time, right? But he don't care about Master Chief, okay? Because he's just a husk in a shell, right? He's very stoic. He has his duty of trying to save humanity, and that's about it, really, right? You get some instances of feelings with Cortana and defying orders in Halo 5 to go get Cortana, but that's really about it, right? I'm proposing to get new players in for the game to be healthy for the campaign portion, right? Is to create your own Spartan and go with that, right? Now, as far as multiplayer is concerned, it needed battle royale to begin with, right? It's a very, I mean, how many people are playing on Steam? We don't really know, right? It's multiplayer as far as it's a really great multiplayer. I love it. Yeah. You guys are going to probably be yo, he's hating. I love both campaign and multiplayer. I love them both.
Boo this man.
I am strategic. I'm just talking strategically about growing the franchise from where it is, and possibly, one of those options is rebooting the whole franchise, and another one with Master Chief, and then the other option is sunsetting him, letting you going. Chief got in trouble, and you going to go save him. A new legend is born. Something along that.
That's what they told us for Guardians.
But you played as Locke. You didn't play as your own person.
Locke is a great character.
He is, but he's not you. A lot of people want to, unless the character is well realized, a lot of people want to create their own character, and those games succeed like crazy.
You don't create your own character in COD campaigns.
But how many characters and skins,
those are well realized.
Yeah, they're well realized.
Right.
The stories of them are great.
Yeah. See, look. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with Black Viking on this one. The area where I think he has a point is, for a while now, specifically even with Infinite, right? If you are a gamer who plays Infinite still in the multiplayer side of the house, you have probably 4 or 5 different Spartans. And they all look completely different than the other Spartans. Everyone that's in a team looks completely they make their own choices. They have their own customization. It would be interesting to start a campaign and be like a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed dude that wants to become like the great Master Chief. Maybe have the Master Chief as your guide, and you roll your own character in that way. It would be interesting.
Right? And same thing with co-op, right? Co-op never made, I lose all immersion with co-op because we're both Master Chief.
And they're all the same. Exactly. And you could be a different name than another person, because we live in a world where a lot of these Spartans exist now, right? He is the stoic, the beginning, right? He is the OG, but there are many that live in this world now. Even the show did that, where they just kept adding more different types of Spartans. So jokes aside, I can see an ODST-like story, and obviously ODST, they weren't Spartans, but I can see a story where you come in as a new character. Well, yeah, Reach as well. But Reach, all of them were known characters that you play.
They're known characters. They're already realized characters, yeah.
This would be a la Fallout, where you roll your own character, or Mass Effect, you get a backstory where you came to join the Spartan Corps.
This sounds like you guys want a Halo RPG, and I don't know that that's necessarily
gonna, yes,
that's fine. You can have a Halo RPG, but that shouldn't. Listen, you know what? I'm gonna wait my turn. I'm getting a little hot under the collar, but go ahead. You guys go ahead. Just tell me when it's my turn to talk. That's it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go on mute until it's my turn.
You know what? I will actually let Game Logic in on this one next, because I know Game Logic is, like some others in our community, is really well versed in the Halo lore and has played Halo extensively. What do you think of this idea, sir?
Actually, I'm not that versed. I spent a long part of my the past 30 years, 20 plus years of gaming life, only playing Halo 1 through 3, and just feeling like everything after that was not really Halo. Although I did go back and play Reach, and that's an incredible game. I love Reach. And then I never played Halo multiplayer because I never liked it until Halo Infinite. And then I played probably a year more straight of like very intense Halo Infinite. Slow-mo's in the chat. He was there with me. So I'm not as familiar with the lore, but I am familiar with, you know, the game design and kind of some of the things that I would argue Halo Infinite didn't get right. I think the question to start asking ourselves is, should it be Halo, and should Halo continue? If you listen to GI Sprint, Rami Ismail and a couple other developers were on there, and Sean Layden has said some of these things too, but it's about like studios that are doing IP when it's not really that same game anymore, right? We look at BioWare, you even look at a little bit of Bethesda, and Bethesda is a little different because you've had Todd Howard, who's been that point of continuity, that through line the whole time. But a lot of these studios, they're no longer the same studios. The creative teams that made that IP are no longer there. And the things that they're really making are really kind of inherently different games. And that's part of the reason, potentially, why they're not sticking with the culture that fell in love with them in the first place. And so maybe some of the idea that should be considered, and I've posted a long write-up about a theory of the generationality of design, right? That you're going to have people whose design ethos is kind of formulated by their background and how they grew up. So your big designers in the early 2000s were formulated by their gaming experiences in the 80s and 90s. And now maybe what we're seeing those people who have apogeed, and it's time for them to go on because the things that they're designing and what inform them are no longer the things that are in vogue with the current rising bow wave generation of gamer, right? And that there needs to be this rolling tide, and that what you're seeing is that you're seeing the rolling tide of consumers and the market and what appeals to them that's advancing at a faster rate and overcoming and overtaking aged designers who maybe arguably should be moving on now. So I think, and what the GI Sprint guys talked a lot about is about how, you know, maybe it's time again for some of these things to move on. I've been in some other conversations. It goes back to the MCU conversation where like when you're at the point where you're doing sequel 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like I don't know that that's it. Like maybe you need to move on from that idea. And so I don't disagree with what Black Viking is saying. You know, Brap has mentioned things like that before. A few other people have mentioned the fact that it's time to take the Halo franchise in a different direction and center it and anchor it around something different. But I also ask the question, maybe it's just time to, you know, close up shop on the Halo franchise. Let it be, right? It was what it was. It is what it is. It lives in perpetuity. We all have lots of nostalgia about it. Continuing to do it maybe arguably just makes things worse, you know, and maybe it's time to kind of step off on a new foot with a new IP.
See, now I would say it's a fair assessment on that, but then I ask, like, the other mascots that we've known and loved for a long time are able to reinvent themselves constantly, right? How many umpteenth version of Mario games do we get? Sega's still trying to make Sonic work, and they're still allowed to try over and over and over again. Why is Master Chief the only one that needs to be
that company? But please go on, sir. You know what?
Why is Master Chief the only one?
I'll go back to mute.
Wow, it's a good thing Slow-Mo's on here to push back on that. Sonic is keeping Sega alive. Wow.
Yeah,
don't listen to me.
Listen to the only one allowed to be mothballed.
Say that, but anyway.
Right. But you know what?
Nobody
Slow-Mo,
cares about
welcome,
Sonic.
sir. Go ahead. You're here. Tell us, give us your thoughts on the matter, sir.
Yeah, I didn't. I know you got a packed panel, and it's an awesome panel. I don't want to speak
it's all good.
I don't want to stay for too long, but I did want to speak on something because every time it gets brought up, and I echo kind of what Black Viking's been saying, because I've been saying this since about maybe 2020 about wanting to kind of evolve the Halo franchise. But I think something that's very important, because people always want to protect the Master Chief character, and what's really important is something. A few years ago, the word came out that Amazon was going to work on a spinoff TV show of Mass Effect, and a lot of talk was out there about are they going to take is it going to be main character Commander Shepard? People wanted old boy that plays Superman, I can't remember his name right now, to play Commander Shepard. All this talk, and then people came to one of the lead writers for Dragon Age and asked him what were his thoughts about it. Not Mark Dara, but David Gator. David Gator said that the blueprint of, and everyone says universally that old school BioWare made great stories with great characters. People said, he said the blueprint of how they did that is that the main character is a blank slate with a bunch of choices that you have to kind of like tailor it to your experience.
Correct.
But the great characters were the side characters. People talk about Garrus. People talk about Big Cheek's girl, you know, Mass Effect 2. People talk about I can't remember her name right now. Miranda Lawson. Jax. You know, like people talk about all these great characters. People talk about the great characters in Dragon Age. They don't talk about your Warden or your Inquisitor. They talk about all the other characters around them. And so, and actually, if you want to kind of solidify Master Chief as a great character, you allow him to step aside. Let him be a side character where they can build up his personality, create stories and side quests based solely on him. Meanwhile, you get to be that blank slate Spartan where you kind of make your own choices in it. Maybe my choice is different than your choice, Kay, and what Chief wants to do in a certain situation. That may cause some conflict, or it may be a point where Chief and I end up kind of like our friendship grows or something. These are the ways they do it now.
A really good point. I'll let you continue.
I just need to Chief to an NPC. What are we doing, people?
I think because like if you give player agency to make decisions within the Halo universe, the universe then has to react to what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And the universe does stuff to where you have to react to it. It seems like with the 6 iterations of you know the Halos when you play as Master Chief, you are only reacting to what the universe is doing to you, right? Versus you doing stuff to where the universe has to react to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And they've already kind of removed the whole like aura of Chief as he's always wins. He always finds a way to win. You remove that when you allow Atriox to slap him around and drag him across the ship by his leg. That's over. You didn't like that's it, you know, and then kick him out a spaceship and let him float in space for like 6 months.
Slow-mo, you know what's so terrible about that? They don't even let you go back and serve anything to Atriox.
You can't clap back. Atriox is gone. You got some dude with asthma that you gotta fight now. Like this dude keep like, why is this guy like? Why he breathing like that? Get out of here!
They're not gonna make another game where you're fighting.
Apparently, you didn't finish the game on Legendary.
No. That's not about that.
You never get your exactly. Yes, they never allow you to finish the fight.
So that's a fight that he lost.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
And in true Halo fashion, they're just going to be
and
like,
that's always my criticism. He never
beat him off screen.
I mean, you know he's alive, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he finished anything.
Atriox is alive, but you didn't fight him.
Yes,
right, because they never finished the game. Right, they still have more.
Which they never do.
They're never going to finish the game. Hargy, it's never going to get finished.
That was I mean, you're saying basically Infinite. That path is dead.
It's dead.
I believe so.
They're not continuing it.
They laid off the entire narrative team. When they get a new, I'm not saying they're never going to do a Halo campaign, but when they do the next Halo campaign, I am more likely to see or expect some kind of off-screen deal with the previous story situation like they did with Guardians in regards to Halo Infinite, than them actually addressing the fact that Atriox gave Chief a L and Chief still ain't, and he ain't got no get back, no retaliation or nothing. And it's just, I mean, I'm not saying Atriox is gone as a character completely, because he was awesome in the Halo Wars games and he's an awesome villain. He's the really only great villain I think Halo in the TV show, and not in TV shows, the video games has. Like as a character, individual character, he is he's the dude, which is why people were so hyped when they did the marketing and they were showing him for Halo Infinite, but then it turned out he was just in the cutscene and then gone. So
go ahead, Everborn. I know you wanted to get in here. Go ahead.
Couple of things here. With the whole Halo Infinite Atriox thing, I agree with Slow-Mo on this one. Yes, he's still alive, and if we were in a timeline where Halo Infinite did well and it was going to get a sequel or a campaign DLC, we would have got the Get Back, and that would have been great. But Slow-mo is correct. You get slapped around in the schoolyard, right? Like Aatrox went to Chief and said, "That's my bike, punk," right? And then Chief was like, "All right, it's like both ours, but we just gonna keep it at your house." Right? And then
you uppercut them.
right. He threw him off the ship. And then you go through this whole game and like, what was the purpose of that? Why not just say you was like Escharum is the one who slapped him up and then you get to fight Escharum at the anyway, that's fine. We are where we are. But back to the initial point. What I think you are talking about, Viking, is an issue with writing. Removing Chief in and of itself and saying you're killing him is not going to do anything if you don't.
I never said kill.
Wait. Well, sure. Yeah. I'm just saying, focusing elsewhere. And by the way, I say this, I've been saying for years, I'm all for spin-offs in the Halo universe that are different genres besides RTSs. I'm with you on that. But if there was a Halo RPG, I'm there day one. If it's a third-person survival horror with the Flood, I'm there for that too. I'm here for all of it. I think I agree that the Halo universe does suffer from the Star Wars problem, where it's like the universe is so big, it's so vast, but we keep coming back to the Skywalkers. So is it really that vast, right? And so I do understand that, and I do think that the Halo universe is a milieu of sorts. It is a backdrop where you can tell many stories. I agree with that.
And there's amazing stories within the Halo universe,
right?
Like within the novels and stuff.
You do not. I see that comment from Brap. And
by the way, there's a poll up real quick. I put a poll in there. Please make your voice heard. The poll is, Master Chief, what do you think? The options are: get rid of him to move Halo forward. Option 2, don't you dare mothball the Chief. Or option 3, kill Halo altogether. Your choice. Please.
That's the game logic option.
Well, or can we be ODSTs? Do we have to be Spartans?
Right.
There we go. Or make us Spartan 4s or something. Make us Spartan. You don't have to play as Master Chief. And I think when you separate the player from the character can then grow. Yeah. Because like when you are the Master Chief, and then let's say, like, if you try to give the Master Chief more agency in the story, he could say or do things that like the actual player may not agree with. Well, I don't really like feel that way about this, but then now I got to go do this mission with these choices that the Chief just made. Instead, it could be your choice with your player. And does that make it kind of a little bit of RPG-ish? Yeah, but like, aren't so many of these games that come out now implementing so many elements from RPG? Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
There are more.
Really quick. Everborn, on your point of shit, I lost my point. Go ahead and do the super chat.
Well, okay.
let me do the super chat and then think about your point. We'll get back. The great Pixelbit G, who himself Halo, we call him the Halo lore master. $5 super chat. He says the blueprint is right there. It's called Halo Reach. Multiplayer custom character is also Mobile 6 in the game. Did we forget? But I guess my pushback to that is Mobile 6 existed. All those characters were there and they existed.
He means Noble. Go ahead.
Noble 6. Yeah, Noble 6. Yeah. Noble 6. Yeah. They existed in canon. They have names. Obviously, you didn't really get to deal with them because what happened in Reach, that's a whole different thing. Yeah. But this would be a wholly new plucked out of nowhere. You are now the character.
You could be Gray Team 6. You could be Gray Team 6. I mean, Gray Team, not Gray Team 6, but Gray Team. Yeah. In the novels, they just disappeared, right? Yeah. And you could be one of those persons and they create a whole new story trying to get back to
this would be like the stories of the show where they literally just picked a character, the female character, a few other characters, and they turned them into Spartans. That would be you in this story. Maybe you have a character creator at the beginning that you can shape to look like you, a separate person that becomes a Spartan. By the way, yes,
I have my point now.
Yeah, you have your point. I'll let you have your point.
Yep, go ahead.
Keep your point. Keep it in your mind. I must quickly just introduce, because this is the last topic, and then we're going to get out of here. MJ Dark. He had to jump in real quick.
All right.
Welcome, MJ Dark.
I
ahead,
kind of wanted
Black
Pixel
Viking,
Bit
make
G
your
to
point.
jump in on this too.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So
what's happening?
Me too, but continue. Yes.
all right. So my point is like about suffering from bad writing, right?
Yep.
There's only so much you can do because Chief, there's only so many principles that Chief has, right? To where it's hard to write around him when he's very predictable in what he's going to do.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it makes writing the story for Halo very difficult because he doesn't get emotional. Like he doesn't emotional anyway.
He gets emotional. You play Halo 4. He gets very emotional.
Not really though. I mean, like he does, but not.
You got to keep it. You got to keep it in the bread box. You know what I mean?
Can I say that Halo 4 was the most interesting thing I think they've ever done? With
I loved
Chief
it.
As a
I
character.
loved it.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah,
like not the whole game itself, but what they did with the character of Chief was the most interesting thing that they.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, to Slow-Mo's point, didn't they fix that problem with Batman with the Bat family by surrounding him with characters that had slightly more like nuanced edges around them, and their interactions also drove
there weren't
story.
psychopaths that were basically keeping his villains alive, so he would have a reason to keep being Batman. I mean, like that's what's really going on. He's freaking crazy, but no one wants to say it. But but that's the truth of the matter. Like what Logic is saying is right. Like you create other characters that people can appeal to and really say, oh, I love Nightwing. I love Red Robin and stuff like that, and Red Hood. It creates more than just us trying to make excuses for a psychopath who lives in a cave basement when he has a mansion. I mean, what are we doing here? Like, dude, get yourself together, get a therapist, bruh, please. But you just ignore that and say, hey, Nightwing's great. The fact that he keeps Joker alive. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
So real quick, Big Poppy Senpai, a member for 1 month, says, I want a Halo game with turn-based tactics RPG like Wasteland 3 or Gears Tactics.
That'd be dope.
That's what's up.
Isn't that kind of...
That'd be great.
Isn't that kind of Halo Wars? Kind of?
It is.
Kind of, yeah.
It's just
can we also say this? Halo Reach, I believe so, is the best campaign in Halo. I think Halo Reach has that. They achieved that with Master Chief being in cryostasis, and you only see him for 2 seconds at the end of the game.
Oh, here he goes.
Meanwhile, they had all these other characters.
Real quick, Brap, $2 per chat. He says, I say kill Master Chief, and then he goes on to add with a $5 per chat. He says, I agree with Everborn, where writing has been an issue recently. Maybe hire season 2 writers. Season 2 of the show was amazing.
Yeah. And that's what's crazy is like when you compare and contrast the video game versus the show, like I wanted to play Halo even more because I got to see a shit ton of emotions from Chief and stuff that happened around him. And the characters that were in there were amazing.
They show you Master Cheeks and you get mad. Now you wish you had more Master Cheeks.
I'm in the minority, but I loved Halo Season 1. I loved it.
There you go. There you go.
So Viking, to your point, this is my core thesis, right?
Yeah.
If you had access to competent writers, because you would need that. Like I think we all agree, replacing Chief isn't the silver bullet. It is telling a story without the constraints of people's expectations of Chief, right?
Yeah.
I would only add that you need competent writers to do that. And if you had competent writers, they could tell a good Chief story. And I think the answer to this is to continue the Chief campaigns and then do these other things on the side.
It has to get straight rebooted. It has to go straight back to the beginning.
I agree with
in
that.
my opinion.
I agree with that. I say if you want to keep Chief, then take it back. Although, to be fair, they should give us an ending to the Infinite plotline before they do that.
They should give us an ending to all plot lines, but they never let the man finish the fight. His slogan is now a facetious little freaking meme that he never finishes any fights, man. He never finishes any fights. He's still trying to give the Covenant back they bomb. How many years later now?
But
Dark.
But imagine, last thing, imagine this is, I think, to Slow-Mo and Vikings point. Imagine you are a Chief
But like, if you really think about it, like Chief is a killing machine, right?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Who has a crush on an AI? Who betrayed him, right? Whatever, right? And he he fell into that friendship, that connection with Cortana because he couldn't connect with real people. But he's actually a killing machine, and he's probably a war criminal by today's Geneva Convention, right? So what about having people in the story that are commenting on that? Because listen, I look at Chief like I look at Jack Bauer, right? But Jack Bauer actually tortures people to get the information he needs. Imagine someone commenting on the things like that Chief is doing in real time. A good writer could do it.
MJ Dark, I need your opinion on this, sir. I know you are a big lover of Halo like I am. I kind of understand where these guys are coming from, but somehow, somewhere deep in me, I feel like this is all blasphemy. What are your thoughts, sir?
So, hey, everyone. I think everyone has some good points, and I got a couple things to say. So, first, I would say what Halo suffers from is kind of what I'm going to go back to Metal Gear Solid suffers from. What happens when you have the creative, meaning Bungie made the original trilogy, and then Kojima made made the original made Metal Gear. Is that me?
No, it's because you were getting feedback.
You got reverb, man.
Yeah. I'll mute you for now, Pixel. But you're kind of you have a little bit of a reverb and bringing the feed in. Go ahead, MJ. Continue. I'll let you jump in a minute. Pixel.
What I've always said as I looked at Halo and is that 343 has sort of never been given the chance outside Halo 4 to really make it their Halo, and I would wish that they would make their Halo. Halo 5, kind of talking of what everyone was saying. When I listened to Hunt the Truth, I thought we were going in the direction that kind of Black Viking and everyone kind of been talking about here, where Chief was going to be seen as a criminal, and it was sort of going to spin off in a way of telling the story and expanding the universe. Because my issue with Halo has always been is that they assume that you've read the books and everything else, right? And the storytelling has been the issue. And I think that when you have a writing issue where you haven't developed your characters, you can't say get rid of the character because you've never given him the chance to really write him, right? Halo 5 didn't have such a cohesive story, but then Halo Infinite had a story that he never finished. If I do agree that maybe we need to reboot Halo, and what you can do is use the lore, right? The mantle of responsibility. Have Chief come in and whatever Halo they're doing, and he sort of resets that universe because everything's gone to like the sideways, and then that's where you sort of start the next chapter, and you can kind of build that world. I would love to see a Mass Effect style Halo game where you create your own Spartan, but you can also have like Oni operatives and everything. You sort of kind of break into that lore, and then it leads up to a Master Chief story. I don't think you need to get rid of Master Chief. I just think that you need to expand it into other genres. I would love to see a RPG style Halo and kind of go beyond just Halo Wars, and then from there, when it builds up, Chief still exists in this world, and it builds up to when you get to a Halo story. And I think look at what they've done with kind of Gears, right? They went back to what made Gears what it was. And maybe there's a lot of stories that are still need to be told. You just need to make sure that the writing is great, and you also need more interesting characters. I mean, you can't be killing off Cortana off screen. That's like horrible. That's another thing that I didn't like about what 343 has done is that some of these major events, they just kind of tell you. It's like going to a blog and be like, yeah, just, here you go. Yep, this person's dead. This happened. Cool. Now play the game. I just think that's been some horrible choices in how they've told the story up to this point with certain things in Halo.
Shout out to the great Mash for another 10 memberships. This man is putting his foot down today, brother. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. That's awesome. So you were saying another one, and then we'll get Pixel in here.
Yeah. I've done I write comics or whatever, but I do a lot of sort of screenwriting classes and watching talks about these things. And there's this concept of the once removed rule, whereas it's not super interesting for your character to just be a great person that gets everything right. But what's more interesting, I mean, you can do it if you're a skilled writer, But what's more interesting is to be the once removed. So what that means is my father was great, right, and got everything right, and everyone loves him, and he did everything right, and now I'm trying to live up to that. So if you're a Spartan and you know the lore that we all know of Chief, and you're trying to live up to Chief, that's a more interesting story, especially if you try to build yourself up to be Chief, but it's an unattainable goal. And then you meet Chief and he's not what you thought in person.
Or you could meet him and say, "Oh, I thought you were taller."
but you know, it's
find
about
out Chief is like Tom Cruise's height.
It's about execution though, because that's what they tried to do in Gears with JD and Marcus, but nobody liked JD because JD was basically just a boring character, and so it's like. You have to execute it with good writing.
I don't know if you guys knew this. Aloy and JD were dating, but anyway, sorry.
Stop the slander, sir. Stop.
They couldn't have a baby.
All of their dates is just them staring at each other and not saying a word. You know, because they're so boring.
Stop the ridiculousness. Yo, Pixel, sir, you were in here. Let's get your thoughts on this. I know you drink deep of this Halo lore. What are your thoughts on this blasphemy? Is there a world where Master Chief gets sidelined? What do you think?
I mean, I don't know, not fully, but I do have to like this. So there's one little course correction, right? So first, the Noble 16 was not part of Halo up into the game. They were not in the novel, right? The Full Reach novel has nothing to do with them, right? It has to do with Blue Team, and Blue Team was in space. So that whole story was made up. All right.
Sure.
So of all those characters, the character you play is a made-up character, and he has no name. There's no name for him in the lore.
Well, I guess what I meant by that was it's not a character you choose. It's a character that is chosen for you.
No, right.
In this instance, it would be you choosing your character.
But here's the thing: you don't choose him by name, but as you play the game and you play the multiplayer, any modification you make to Noble 6, your multiplayer character carries back into the game.
Yeah.
Did y'all forget that?
Yeah,
so that's kind of the key component I've been talking. Like y'all are kind of saying that, and I'm like
that exists already.
The game exists already, right?
But that game came out a gazillion years ago, Pixel.
Hold on. But that's my point. That's my point, and I've said that before. Right, the blueprint for the game people wanted, which we thought Infinite was going to be, existed, and they did not follow through. You give me the online Spartan, right, and then you give me that Spartan in game, in cutscenes. I make a change. I put on goofy ass armor online, and he shows up.
Then
goofy
he's there.
In the game.
That's right.
You just make him your character. So that's part one. Okay. Part two is y'all know like. Back when I first came on this show, maybe 2 years ago, that I've been crying for give me a third-person action game starring who?
Well.
Locke.
Please speak on.
Not Locke, man. Not Locke.
Oh no, sorry. That was K Mega. Sorry.
that is
Sergeant Johnson.
Oh yeah, of course.
Sergeant Johnson.
Avery Johnson.
Johnson, right? Spartan Zero. Right.
Yep.
So like there's opportunities to create something in the universe that
voiced
does
by
not
Denzel
have
Washington.
to be. Oh yeah, I mean, listen, why not?
Washington. Yeah,
right not?
That's
right? He could bring his training day to reach. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But you read, you know, there's a book for it. You do First Contact. Right, they have an opportunity to go back.
And, I'd advocate for Danny Sapani to do the voice, but that's just neither here nor there. Keep going.
You know what I'm saying? Or we get Kay Asante standing for the Halo show to do it. No, why not?
Keep walking,
why
keep
not?
walking.
We need him. That man needs more love. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
but like,
I still don't think he's dead in the show because he didn't die on camera.
Of course, but like he's basically
that man is ultra dead in the show, and you know it. They ain't got the right chops. They're right out of that hole.
You know he's Sergeant Johnson, right? Y'all realize that, right?
I'm really sure that he's a Sergeant Johnson.
He's a mix between Keys and Sergeant Johnson.
So, that's what I thought.
Don't be surprised if he shows up the same way Sergeant Johnson showed up in Halo 2. But if you play Legendary, he died in Halo 2. I'm just saying.
Right. That's
right.
Have they even approved of a season 3?
That's what I was
That's
getting
my
ready to ask.
question.
Do we think we're getting a Halo season?
I don't
3?
know.
With all
No.
the Paramount's going through.
I
I don't think we will.
I don't think we will.
Unlikely. But hey,
So
maybe they'll reboot
Once
it
again, another fight that doesn't get finished. There we go.
Yeah. So to your point about the way that they like to get rid of characters, my take on the Aatrox thing is, as long as they don't write a story about him, we're okay, right? As long as they don't make a book that says anything about this guy, he should still be existing somewhere in the universe, and he won't just disappear, which is what they did to the Didac, right? They freaking wrote a book and then he disappeared. But
And he disappeared. Yeah.
but other universes have done similar, really character altering ideas before your story, right? God of War reboot did that, right?
Yep.
He changed universes, got married, had a kid who we're not sure who's that kid father is, but he had a kid and all this other stuff, and it happened before your story, right? So there is a way to do it and still deliver it properly.
It's just about good writing. You have to
Can I
on the
finish, my
writing.
guy? Can I finish? I'm
I'm just saying. I agree with you.
343. I was gonna say, can 343 do it? Probably not.
No.
Look. I say this. You have all this transmedia, right? Halo is probably the first game to do heavy transmedia, right? I'm pretty sure they're the fucking first. Excuse my friend. Sorry, I think they're the first.
You get one.
So I'll take the one, right? I believe they're the first.
Well,
So,
you mean like going beyond the game to something else?
right?
To like TV?
In terms of like books, books, like the Halo.
Okay.
Halo
It's when you tell a story in multiple mediums: video games, comics, TV, movies.
Halo's been doing
Well,
that.
so
since the beginning.
other things did do it before that, and so you've had some of the Nintendo properties do it. Wing Commander did it.
Okay, it's fair enough. So I think I know that they were one of the big ones pushing it back in the early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
So they have a history of transmedia. You have writers who write those books. Why hasn't Eric Nyland penned a game? Right?
Yeah.
Why haven't any of the people who wrote the best books in the Halo series been involved in this series? Right? That's one thing. The other thing is there's a way to do Halo where you're saying, okay, like Mike is saying, yo, we kill off Chief, which I can't agree with.
I'm not saying kill.
No, you did. Okay,
Blasphemous.
Stop.
Put her in the corner.
You did it. Okay, you did it. And now you're known as Black Viking Chief Killer. Okay,
Chief
So-
Killer. Chief Killer.
That's not a
Viking.
bad name. That's a
You and
good
Brad
name.
are on that island together.
First of his
You
name.
better
right?
own it.
Last of his name.
First
so
of his-
first of his kind, last of his name. So the if there's you could explore the Halo universe before the Halo universe, and they have an entire, they have books on that, right?
Yeah.
You have the entire
what became of the Forerunners?
Yeah, you have
why
the
the
Forerunner
Forerunners
saga
created
to
the
build-
thing? Yeah.
Yeah, and they have great characters in that series as well, right? A
Yeah.
universe of humans that are, proto-humans that are basically stronger than Master Chief. All of them, the entire race, right? So,
Yeah.
they have opportunities to do other things in games without even touching on Master Chief. You could basically just leave his character dormant for a while and move on to something else. But I say, don't just do the shooter. I'm just saying, don't just do the shooter, right? Halo Wars is actually a good series for those who like strategy. But there are other genres of games that the universe is big enough to support, and it befuddles me that for 20 years, 343 has just refused to do anything beyond a shooter.
Not 343 for 20
Everborn,
years.
go ahead.
Well, Microsoft.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean,
Can I
Bungie.
throw in
So-
stuff?
Yeah. No. After this, I'll get everybody's last take, and then we'll get out of here.
That's
Go ahead,
my piece.
Everborn.
So,
I haven't even had a take.
No, so this is gonna be quick. Another thing you could do with so for me personally, if it's gonna be an FPS, like a strict FPS and not like an RPG or whatever, I think that those games should be Chief, and then the other things that you guys are talking about will be in other genres, third person, over the shoulder RPGs, things like that, and use that for the other characters. But a traditional Halo style campaign FPS, I think that should be Chief. And just an idea, if you don't want to do a prequel,
Maybe you do some of these other genre of games, and when you come back to Chief, he's retired on some no-name planet, and he's just a farmer or something. And then somebody, some aliens come in and they kill the whole village.
Or you do a story in the margins, right? Halo ODST is probably one of the best Halo games ever made. Like in terms of tone,
and it took like 6 months to make that game.
Right, because it's running on, it's running on the 3 engine, right? So it's like in terms of the tone of that game, it's literally the first game in the Halo series where you feel like I'm scared to death when you see certain characters, right? Like you don't want to run into hunters. Like there's you play the game differently, right? So you can still do games in the margin with other characters like ODSTs, which they have not bothered to go forward with it as well. And that was the first open world style Halo game as well, right? So it's like there's opportunities. I think everybody's making great points at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like there are so many different opportunities, but outside of killing Chief off, like Mighty Viking is saying here, I think
because what's more interesting than saving the universe is a personal journey. It's like the want versus the need, and again, maybe you give Chief a wife. Maybe he's settled down.
Oh my God!
Retired, whatever. No. Wait a minute. Let me be very clear.
We're not in the.
We're not saying he's. I'm not saying he's having kids. I'm saying he still likes the ladies. Right?
So is this a situation where the war criminal that he bedded now has a child of his? Is that what we're doing? No,
I'm not saying he has kids. I'm not saying he can't have kids.
You guys are saying everything just to save Chief. This is crazy.
Wait a minute. No. But you guys are not hearing me. You hear what I'm saying. I'm just saying Chief is retired.
He dies. I'm just saying.
Chief is retired on some no-name planet in the outskirts of the galaxy. He's done. He's hung up the helmet, and he's a member of the community. He got a girl he likes. Maybe there's some awkwardness, so he never really sealed the deal with her. He's just like, a thing. And then she dies. And then all his friends die, and now it's a revenge tale, and it's Chief because you don't know who you messing with because he is Chief, and you just glass the planet. John Wick Chief.
John 117 Wick.
John 117. Yo,
this is how you put Chief aside while also respecting him and not putting him in that cliched storyline that we've seen 5,000 times.
But you haven't seen Chief.
Hold on. Chief is the most decorated soldier in the UNSC. He has killed probably whole populations of Covenant forces at this point. Make him the commander or chief of the UNSC. He is still in the fight technically because he's leading it. He's pushing the forces where they need to be, and then you get your own Spartan to actually execute on the fight.
Pencils,
okay,
man.
pause.
I just want to note that
hold on. Grumpy Shaman, $2 super chat. He says throw Halo to the same place where Banjo is.
Oh wow,
slander there, yes.
So like
and
nowhere.
Then the legendary Yobi with $10 super chat. He says Master Chief served his purpose. He's solidified. It's time to build new legends. Let Chief sleep. They have 50+ Spartan teams. My pick: Spartan Headhunters. # build new legends. I actually like that stake right there.
Somebody should copy and paste that and store that somewhere because that's actually like the great intro line to like a reboot franchise. Like exactly. Like Chief's burial. I'm not saying kill Chief, but Chief's burial and actually saying let the Master Chief sleep. It's time to build new legends.
That's what my article says, baby. Just read the article.
# Spartan Headhunters build new. I mean, Yobi.
Good stuff. Oh, it's a soft death. We got
Yobi. Shout out to Yobi.
All right,
that's it.
Can I go now?
I want to
go ahead, Hargy. Go ahead, Hargy.
All right. So first thing,
betrayal.
What the fuck are you talking about? Are you serious?
Keep it down. Keep it down. All
right. So
no, he didn't get his one. That was his one. You got it. It's okay.
That's his one.
Keep going.
Keep going.
So all right, you're saying that basically, when we have God of War, Kratos can F off. And we're gonna have somebody else come in. All right, cool. That's awesome. We're gonna have the next Zelda is not running with Link. It's gonna be with Zelda, right? That's what we need to do. We don't need Link. Go away. Bye-bye.
Well, Nintendo's kind of doing that right now, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's all about Zelda right now.
What was that?
All about Zelda right now.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed that comment.
What was Nintendo's making a Zelda game without Link?
It is all about Zelda now.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So the next, they're literally doing the same thing, right? But look, we've already tried this experiment. We tried this with the Halo 5, and we had Master Chief be the bad guy, and we're supposed to go after him. And that lost miserably. Nobody liked it. It sucked.
I like
the way it is. Now you can say, oh, it's the storytelling. It doesn't matter. Nobody wanted to play that way. It sucked. It was just no good. Everybody wanted to be Master Chief. The problem with trying to take Master Chief out of Halo is to have Mario without Mario. It just doesn't work. It's what it is. Now, side things, absolutely fun. I like it. I love ODST. Liked Halo Wars 1 and 2. Good. And it's always fine to have those side things. Halo is Halo. The freaking thing on my Xbox on the inside of it is Halo Master Chief. On the outside of it, it's Master Chief. What are you talking about? Like, Superman without Superman. Sure, why not? Let's just take away Clark Kent and it's somebody. No,
but the difference with Superman is the story is about that person, where Halo is about the universe where that person resides.
No, it isn't.
Right?
Halo is about Master Chief.
Yes,
it's about Master Chief and Cortana. And they tried this other thing of like the Batman thing where we have other characters. They tried that. They tried that with the new Cortana and whatever that moron is that couldn't freaking cut it and decided to run away and couldn't run away and he's the one who revived the chief. Whatever. So that was their way of trying to humanize and have somebody else have emotions. And again, nobody liked the character. So
that's because the writing sucked, Hargy. It's like we can't say the writing is trash, so no one likes the concept.
But a good writer could write a good Master Chief story. What are we talking about?
That is a much better answer.
Hargy's point is that
that is a much better answer.
Who play Halo? They're not story people. They're not I need feelings people. They want action.
There's a lot more to that. Correct. Right? The feelings you get are based on the actions you've taken. And that's the game. It's the whole point of Halo is to mix that together. Right? Do you really need something different than it starts?
I think of Halo when I not Master Chief whenever I hear that.
You think of murdering grunts left and right. That's what I think of.
Yeah, me too.
I think of Elite definitely got the sky. I'm in combat. The minute I hear this, I'm in combat. I'm not thinking about feelings.
People who are complaining about the diet. That Halo 4 and 5 arc just wasn't fun. That's the problem. Okay, nobody liked fighting this stupid.
Your mic is going a little back and forth.
It should be good now, right? Because the sound went away.
Yep.
So now the didact going away. Nobody liked the enemy type, right? What was that stupid thing? Whatever. That went away because people hated it. They wanted to go back to the grunts, right? The brutes, right? So we went back to the Covenant, right? Well, the Covenant kind of. This is the banished, right? So that's why that happened. And like, so are you saying you wanted to continue that arc because it was not going anywhere? Nobody wanted it.
Look, even though people don't like it, and I don't disagree with you that people took issue to how that was executed, it doesn't mean you pivot and pretend nothing happened. You could be a bit more skillful in your writing and how you thread that needle. A lot of it is just, oh, you don't like that? Pivot doesn't exist anymore. Oh, you don't like that?
Yeah,
Pivot.
they could have
and that's the problem.
Infect Cortana with that virus. Like they could have linked those two characters together to give a in-game reason for him, this ultra powerful forerunner, to die.
They don't clean up the story well enough. They just keep doing that. And that's the reason why he never finishes his fight. There's always, oh, you don't like this? Change. Oh, you don't like that? Change.
Well, that's one time, right? Because obviously in Halo 3, they finished the fight, yes?
The concern now in Infinite is that we may not finish the fight, right?
That's exactly.
But we're not. We don't know that.
Not guaranteed, right? There's no book yet.
Nothing has been said that says that's the end of it. Right. The assumption here is somehow that 343 will not make anything ever about Halo ever again, and the only thing we need to do is reboot it.
No one.
They said they're done with Halo Infinite. That's what they've said, right? And they're moving on to different Halo situations. Which
does not mean
they could pick up the story and continue.
Exactly.
They could. we shall.
But why do we presume that they wouldn't?
Sure,
right?
Sure. That is
so
about
because in the past they haven't.
There's so much stuff right there, right?
Because in the past they haven't continued it. So it's like, are we gonna? What is more likely to happen? They're going to continue doing how they do the stories previously, or that they're going to actually go in a whole new direction in regards to how they handle.
Well, I mean, the
past
how
mistakes.
many pasts are we talking about here, right? So up through Reach, it was all Bungie. 343 then did 4 and 5, right? That's it. That's their past.
That's not what most.
That's how they handled the previous story. So like,
or Halo 1 through
because people
Halo
didn't
Infinite.
resonate with it. How many people hated the Infinite story?
I didn't at all.
I didn't hate it.
I don't think people hated it, but people's biggest issue was
criticism of it.
It was the multiplayer that got slammed, not the
and it's off
game.
And most of the story is off site, right? It's not in front of you. You have to listen and read it in logs rather than it being playing out in front of you.
You killed off a major character off screen. Like there are issues with the story, but it's not a bad campaign.
Feedback. That's good feedback, right? But that doesn't mean that it doesn't continue, right? The story, the campaign garnered pretty good critical review, right? Maybe some people didn't like it, but the majority did. So why would they stop it? They also transitioned to the thing that people wanted, which was to fight the Covenant. Why would they transition away from that?
To be fair, though, as Lucius is pointing out, they introduced pseudo introduced the Endless, right? And they've already said since that time they're not gonna go there anymore. Zeta Halo is done.
Whoa! When did they say that?
Yeah. The very last time they talked about being done with Infinite, they said they're done with Zeta Halo as well.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I don't want my article or this
conversation
to get misconstrued, right?
Please go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
My biggest thing is right now is how do you bring in more players or new players into the Halo franchise to make sure that it's healthy? Because otherwise we are 30, 40, 50 years old and we keep dying every year. And so will the Halo franchise if we don't do anything.
That is
I'm serious.
Goddamn morbid.
Okay. We do.
Well, half of this panel won't be alive when the next Halo comes out. Let's just be real.
Yeah. Okay. Stop that.
I'm joking.
Stop
I'm
that.
joking. It's a joke. It's a joke.
I'm just saying,
it's a joke with just a little bit of truth in it. I feel you.
It's not
I don't know that
the story or where it's at right now. Like we've all invested since Halo 1 days, all that time into the novels, into Halo 1 through Infinite now, and all that shit. All I'm talking about is new players, people that are under 30. What's the demographic of them playing Halo, the campaign, or Infinite? And do they care?
If they're related
exactly.
to me,
it's Final Fantasy all over again.
You're right. Yeah.
But here's the thing: is that going to change at all? It doesn't. I don't know if it's going to matter.
If I get to be a Spartan,
if
I get to be a Spartan, me and my choices and how I move throughout the Halo universe,
I still don't think it matters.
Absolutely.
Wait a minute.
It's guaranteed to never change if you don't take any chances. Try to garner his interest from the newer generation.
Everborn, please go ahead.
I would like for us to. I think there's a flaw in your logic here.
Okay.
Viking.
Okay, go ahead.
Your argument is if they want to get new players, they have to do X. And your evidence of this is if they do what I want as a 30-something-year-old, then we will get those people. That doesn't
I'm talking
really
about where that demographic
right?
is at right now. Where the demographic is at and what they're playing. And that's what I'm going. Not what I want.
Yeah, what
That'd be dope.
Demographic, right. What the demographic is playing right now is COD and Fortnite and like 4 people are playing Concord, right? Like I don't know that anything that we like. Listen, the sad reality is
they're playing Elden Ring as well.
If you want to talk about us aging out, Elden Ring doesn't even really have a story. You want to talk about what aging out?
What?
Whoa, bro!
Don't do that. Don't do that. Our show is going to last 5 hours.
Will tell you a lot of. There's no real hand holding in that narrative for what you're talking about. If you want a loose narrative,
act like you ain't say that about Elden Ring. Go ahead and continue.
I said it, and I'll say it again. I'm an Elden Lord.
You'll be wrong,
I can speak here. I can speak at this table.
Yeah, he said
I can speak at this table. It's okay.
Yo, you should slam your fist on the ground when you say that, man.
But anyway, what I'm saying is the sad reality is the future, not us, don't really care about these campaigns. And if you are making a campaign, it is for us. And guess what? We love and remember Chief.
Yeah,
it is a fallacy to think just like getting rid of Chief, then the young Gen Zers are gonna come flock to Halo. You will do all of this. You'll piss us off, right? Just to go after people who are not interested in campaigns to begin with.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm going to push back on that a little bit, and I get it.
Go ahead,
right? We like to stand on the square that the new generation is playing Call of Duty, they're playing Fallout, they're playing Blaze Game as a Service. But I would contend we look at the data. They're also playing Ghost of Tsushima, Paper Mario, The 1,000-Year Door, Sea of Thieves, Elden Ring, Hogwarts Legacy. They're playing other stuff. Like, I don't think that we necessarily nail down on this is occupying X percentage of the market, and therefore that's the thing. There is atomization across the industry, and we do see that there are successful ways forward for single-player, story-driven games. Those games as a service thing aren't the only thing.
What is the demographics of those games, right? So let's take a totally different thing, right? Take Star Wars. What's the demographic of Star Wars? They tried that exact pivot. They said, let's get rid of the old people. We'll go to new people. What's the demographics of Star Wars? It's old people. Sorry. The people who watch that shit is old people because we have the nostalgia.
It's the people who remember it when they were
young
kids.
People don't give a shit about it.
And the only new kids
that
care about it are the people who have been indoctrinated by their parents. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
so if you look at like Halo, I'm sorry, it's just the way I look at it. I don't think they give two shits about Halo. To them, that's their old parents' crap. That's how they look at it. It's just the way it is.
Okay, so
right?
who's playing Persona
my
then?
My parents played that. I don't touch that shit.
Who's playing Persona?
That's how they look at it.
If you're saying these young kids don't care about story whatsoever or this kind of content.
Story.
How many people
like Hogwarts?
are
You mentioned Game
Persona?
Hogwarts. They grew up with Hogwarts. They resonate with Hogwarts.
Okay, they didn't grow up with Persona, but they play Persona.
Right. How many people are playing that?
Millions?
It was like 20-something
How
million
many
people bought that game, right? It was ridiculous.
I don't know how many millions, but it's more than hold on, don't let me finish my point. It's more Persona games have outsold previous Persona games every time they launch one. More and more people are playing those games. Yeah, okay.
They actually got so much more by going to Game Pass.
I don't see how that's a bad thing. But look, I'm just saying that like more people were playing Persona than we were playing those kind of games previously. And that continues to grow. When they come out with Persona 6, that thing is going to blow.
But the demographics are the same. That's all.
The demographics are younger people who are doing that. That Persona basically is go to school and have relationships and then like change people's hearts.
Yeah, it's a young game.
Yeah, it's a young person's game.
To his point, I think he does have a point.
Persona has never sold more than 5 million.
I mean, Persona 3 Reload is number 10 on the current NPD charts for year-to-date top 20 games in the U.S. That is just not a small insignificant splash.
Yep.
Sorry, which game? Sorry,
Persona 3 Reload.
The last one.
Yeah,
but what does that mean? Like, what does that translate to in numbers of people, and how many of those are people that are just into like turn-based RPGs?
Those kind of games.
We're talking about demographics. We're talking about like who plays what. You look at games like Persona. You look at games like Life is Strange. That is not older generations playing those games. That is younger generations playing those kind of games, and those games are popular. Just because they are not hitting numbers of Fortnite and. No, they are popular with no quotation marks because they aren't hitting the numbers of live service games, which no one else is. And the same live service games that we played almost a decade ago are the same live service games that are being played primarily by everybody now. No, not even other new live service games are hitting
Halo
those numbers.
should shoot for like 3 million.
Yeah, here's the thing though.
I'm saying that Microsoft
in those same ranges though.
They're not
5 million.
No,
like
Halo doesn't know. Like, we don't know what Halo Infinite sold, but I don't think it sold 5 million.
People play? Yeah, but how many people?
It doesn't matter how many people play. It's a free-to-play multiplayer. It's
No,
about how many people play the game.
But the campaign,
I think
the
the thing we need to look at in terms of data significance, in terms of like how many numbers, right, is like Slow-Mo is saying. I don't think you can't say that, well, these don't hit those numbers, so they're irrelevant. I think the key thing to focus in on is, again, go back to Steam data, 14,000 games published per year. So when this thing pops to number 10, what studios are looking at is 13,990 other studios who put out games are saying, man, I wish I was in the top 10 on the US NPD charts.
So,
right, that's
so
the important
Persona
significance
series,
of the across the market.
Just a quick data point. The Persona series has a player base as of 2024, March 2024. The series has sold over 22.6 million units worldwide.
The entire series. So we're up to 5, and how many remakes?
That's 2 Halo games?
Yeah, and basically the individual games like Royale, Persona 5 Royale had a peak concurrent count of 35,000 on Steam, like, you know, in 2024.
Okay.
So
it
like, but
we shouldn't speak in absolutes,
but
right?
Halo has multiplayer. Persona does not.
Right, but
Yes,
we should not speak in absolutes. I think the point here is, or at least the point that I am trying to make is, I am not saying there is no audience for campaign like story driven, but to me, the core demographic of the audience that wants the kind of campaigns and storytelling from the Halo universe are us, and we know Chief. So just getting rid of Chief, I do not think
would
is
not
the
solve
silver
the
bullet.
problem.
That is the point. It's not to say that that because people are playing COD and Fortnite means nobody wants what do you call it? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the people that like the kind of campaigns that we are discussing here for a Halo mainline campaign, those people are us.
But I think part of the point of the other panel is that's because, as Slow-Mo said, that's because that's all that they've tried to take that franchise
up until now. That's
and
right.
what Black Viking is saying is they haven't taken that lore and tried to make a wider addressable market that hits with other drum beats and other nuances that people might be looking for.
Maybe they should.
I agree with that.
Then to Slow-Mo's point, they should make the next Halo game a cell-shaded turn-based RPG.
That's not what I'm saying.
JD
Gamer. That was a joke. It was a joke. I know that's not what you're saying. It was a joke.
Hold on. JD Gamer, $10 super chat. He says Halo could be split into multiple properties like Mario and how Zelda is about to be. We can have the Master Chief as a mainline Halo, the Halo Wars, Red versus Blue, and Spartan Elites all together, right?
Bro, listen, once they make a Halo RPG, you can count that mainline story dead, because the money that's going to come in from that shit is going to be crazy.
See, now you're talking in absolutes, and you need to calm down. Right? You don't know that. $5. JD Game with another $5 super chat. He says, I agree with Slow-Mo, but according to ponies and pony bots, Game Pass is bad and doesn't grow game audience. So Persona's growth isn't real and doesn't matter, and isn't real no matter the truth.
No matter the truth.
I kind of tuned out after he said I agree with Slow-Mo. So I didn't.
Of course, as usual. Let me tell you this right now.
Gentlemen, let's get our final points out, because I'm not trying to make a 4-hour podcast.
Okay,
go ahead, Slow-Mo. You go.
My final point is I think they should do both. They should do what like Activision has done with Call of Duty, where they keep the hardcore old school Call of Duty guys who love the campaign and the multiplayer still engaged with that the way they always got it every single year. And then they also address the newer gamer that loves Battle Royale with Warzone. And how they tie those together? They say, hey, if you want the new guns and all the new swag that comes with the new Warzone, you buy the new entry, and then you play that so that you get that into Warzone. So both the old camp and the new camp plays that. I'm not saying they have to do that exactly, but this is a blueprint of how you try to create a IP in gaming where that addresses the newer generation of gamers and what they care about, because they're more important than us old guys. And while also giving us old guys what we want. And as my final point if they made a Life is Strange Halo, hold on. They make a Life is Strange Halo that takes place back when the Spartans 2s were in training camp, right? And you're a teenager and you got love interests everywhere, right? And you got Alice
Cut this man's mic. Oh my God.
This would be
no, Slow-Mo. I don't have a John Wick Master Chief and you want to goddamn.
Can I finish the point? Look, hold on. You got to get to the point. So look, when they take the drugs and half of them die from it, your love interest dies and when they take the drugs, and then they all heartbroken. I'm telling you, they would love it. Them kids would eat it up. They be at school like, oh my God, Spartan 332 died on me. I'm telling you,
He wants
sell
emo
like crazy.
Halo.
Pixel Big G.
Emotional damage.
Exactly. Pixel Big G, how about you please correct us, put it back on track here, because that was some crazy wild madness. What are your last statements on this topic, sir?
Just give me a third-person action-driven game in the Halo universe without all this emotional nonsense going on, please. That's all my
Y'all would play it and you know it.
I think young folks would enjoy a good action game as long as they can see the character, right? Just a different perspective for some people, and you can advertise that differently, right? I mean, it's not a pure Halo; it's a different kind of Halo. But yeah, you guys are wild, man. I love y'all though.
So Game Logic, I'll let you get it. What is your last statement that you want to make about this? Are you in agreement that the Halo needs diversification? Do you think the tried and true is where we need to stick with? What are your thoughts? Final thoughts?
I mean, I think like a lot of the comments that have been made, and some people are saying it in the chat too, right? We have examples of franchises that are doing different genres and taking different vectors to address multiple fan bases with the same IP. And so I don't dislike Black Viking's idea. I don't dislike the things Slow-Mo has brought up. I mean, I think at the end of the day, and I understand the thing about the sales numbers and what the Halo franchise has done in comparison to Persona, but I think one of the things that I would be looking at as a metric, right, if I were on the GLT, is what was Halo at peak and where is it now? And I don't know that we have to make any wild reaches to understand and all come to an agreement that the level Halo Infinite was at was not comparable to where the position the Halo franchise used to occupy within the Xbox portfolio. So, I mean, and I go back to kind of what Slow-Mo says, right? If what you're doing isn't working, then the only thing that it makes sense to do is to do something different. At the end of the day, from a storytelling perspective, like I love, and this is me personally, I love things like The Watchmen, right? Deconstructionist. I actually like comic books where it's feasible that characters die. Like I think there's markets that, and I it's unfortunate that Joss Whedon has been canceled, but I mean, Joss Whedon's approach to storytelling, right, was that no one was safe, right? That that the story could inflect and change based on removing major characters. So I personally like things like that. From a storytelling perspective, at the end of the day, I just feel like it's okay for things to end, to wrap things up. We don't need to go to ad infinitum sequelitis and go to iteration 10, 11, 12, 13, right, of the same narrative fabric. So whatever they do with the franchise, I'm okay for something different. I love the Star Wars universe when it's not focused on the Skywalkers, right?
Oh, you get no pushback from me, sir. Absolutely. Hargeet, sir, your final point.
Am I muted? Hold on.
You are not muted. Speak on it, sir.
Okay. All right. Look, so to the point you're saying about like Game Logic, that like Halo Infinite versus the previous ones, I think we have a skewed understanding of what happened before, because we're in a much larger gaming arena and we just don't understand that Halo Infinite actually is the most played Halo throughout all of the Halo series. But we just have this nostalgia of like the very small amount of players we had in the 360 and original Xbox gen, and we say, oh, that was really, really large. No, it wasn't. Right? Halo was the biggest franchise for them because that's all they had. Now you could say it's maybe COD or Minecraft, right?
But I just want to put a little nuance on what you're saying, and then I'll let you go on. But I also brought it back around to what position does the Halo franchise occupy within the Xbox portfolio?
Exactly. But like, I don't know that Halo can go beyond that. Now, like, let me ask you this: what is the biggest IP? Do we know in gaming? What is the biggest IP?
Isn't it Call of Duty still, or is it?
It is Pokemon. By a factor of God knows what, it is Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
how many of you play Pokemon?
I do.
You know why? Because it doesn't resonate with us.
I play
Right?
Pokemon all the time.
You're younger though.
Like,
Like,
you're gen behind, like a little bit behind us, right? So that's what it is.
Your
okay?
your beard isn't quite gray just yet. Sir.
I'm 37.
But it's
you're
by
you're
far
still
the
black
largest
beard,
IP.
man.
The thing we need to do is focus on Halo. Is like Everborn was saying, Halo's for us, and we need to be. We're the ones who are going to consume it. It should target us. The focus should not be try to get next gen. Get them with different games.
That's
We need
not
to
how
have
these
new
businesses are
franchises.
thinking, though.
So, well, that's the way it is, right? I think they do understand that, because if you didn't do that, you wouldn't go buy Minecraft, right? They know they have to diversify, right? The right path is always to go get stuff that people will want, gen to gen to gen. Moving on, you can't be static. This is one IP. It is what it is. This is the way it's going to be. I agree with you, Viking, on that we should branch out, right? Master Chief shouldn't be the only thing, but Master Chief is the thing. So you can't just take him away. Like Mario. Mario has been around for 4 or 5 decades, whatever it is. It's ridiculous,
Super
right?
Toad Brothers, man. Let's do it. Super Toad
Right?
Brothers. Mothball
You can
Mario.
have
Let's go.
mainline Mario.
They've done
and you can have
Wario,
offshoots.
Yoshi, Princess
Yeah.
Peach.
Exactly.
Luigi
There's
games.
offshoots.
Yeah.
Plenty of potential. Plenty of potential. So I say totally take advantage of the potential. Let's do variations. I liked Halo Wars a lot. I think it's actually probably my most played Halo. It's Halo Wars. But hey, that's an offshoot, right? They could do many things. They had these other like arcadey games. It was like isometric view. What were they called? Like Spartan Assault or something like whatever.
Spartan Assault.
Stuff
Yeah,
like
I
that.
played all of them.
Yeah.
Spartan Assault 1 and 2.
There's those kind of games. There's plenty of options here. A lot of people have mentioned them. A horror themed game is like it's just waiting to be done, right? You've got the flood. It's like it's waiting to be made. Go make it, right? Absolutely, I'm all for that. But Halo to me, it's Master Chief. It's a story of Master Chief. It's the whole point of it. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't know. Like to me, that's how that is. It'd be Zelda without Link. Like, oh wait, we're gonna have that.
And it's probably gonna sell all the copies.
All the copies.
A story where Master Chief, hooks up with his team.
No thanks.
It's still
No
a story of
thanks.
Master Chief.
No, we're not doing the Life is Strange.
Somebody cut his mic. Somebody cut this man's mic.
Look at this picture. Look at this picture. Don't tell me you don't want to play this game, Hargy. You want to play that game.
Save us.
You want to know more about her.
The last
I don't.
word goes to you, sir. Your last thoughts. Yes,
when you try to dilute something to serve everyone, sometimes you end up serving no one, right? I now again, I agree. The Halo universe itself in the lore is bigger than Chief, and I am just proposing a instead of either or, a both and. You can do both, and there's a market for all of it. Even slow-mo soft porn waifu game, right? There's a market of people that want that.
It's a relationship, man. You're building relationships.
Sure,
all,
absolutely. And
get nasty.
The shipbuilder that Game Logic was talking about, right? There is room for that, right? The survival horror with Locke or whoever else with the flood. All of that is possible in the universe, but I just think when you're talking about something that is akin to a traditional Halo campaign, that can also exist alongside these other things. And you can have mobile Halo games again, right? You could do that too, that serve that audience. But again, without competent writers, this is all for naught anyway, if we're talking about campaigns. So that's problem one. I think if you solve, I would play that, by the way, a Halo platform. I think if you solve the writing situation.
Oh, so you get a Halo platform, but I can't get Halo Life is Strange.
If I can't
know
get
how
my
this
Halo
works.
John Wick,
We already know how this works, slow motion.
Oh my God.
I can't
Yeah.
get my Halo John Wick. You
Keep
cannot
falling
get your
off
Halo
the
East Side.
rails.
Okay, but anyway, all I'm saying is, you like
Damn.
like You guys got me off track. Anyway, just to finish this, we talked about how COD was able, like ABK or Activision was able to keep COD relevant by like pushing the game into different verticals while still giving the people the campaign. Guess what? The minds behind COD are now in the same house as the Halo folks. And if the Chihuahua does his job, he'll put him in a room and say, hey, give us some ideas on how we can do those things, right? One would hope. And I know their hands are full. I'm not saying if we were in a perfect world, I would say go to id, let them do a Doom style Halo thing somewhere in the Halo universe, not with Chief.
You know
go
what?
to Activision.
Let
them do something.
Doom. Let it be busy. All I'm asking for is you better give me some Milner armor in the next Doom game. If you don't, y'all a bunch of cowards. But
sure, I'm just saying. With all of those, they have. Listen, you could tell Todd, give me a Halo RPG. You could tell Activision.
Oh God!
Now you're going off.
Now we're going with the waifu direction again. Calm down, man. Calm down.
No. We talked about RPGs. Viking wants an RPG. You could have it all. That does not require killing Chief.
Yeah, but
I'm just getting this Chief hate, and I'm not saying.
Well, hold on. The last point, and I saved him for last because he started this damn fire. Yes. Are you gonna put it out, or are you gonna keep roaring this flame here? What is your final point on this topic here right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna go across the street and get some more gas so I can pour it on here.
Gas.
Yeah.
It's like there's easily more chocolate.
I think we all kind of agree with you, though, right, Viking? I think we kind of agree that we need to branch out. We need to have other games.
Right.
We still need to have Chief. That's all we're saying.
And that's
do
fine.
Everything you said, but keep Chief around.
And my article specifically states to keep Chief around, but just not as the mainline character. So. Read the article, guys, in the chat, man, if you guys can. It's really good. I just wanted to bring it to light that with how Halo Infinite was resonating with the gaming community and stuff like that, that there must be a change, whether that is story writing or that is a reboot with Master Chief, so we can get new players in and that the franchise can be healthy. But my main thing that I wanted to highlight was we love the Halo universe. It does. Some of us love Chief too. I like Chief, right? Yep. But it doesn't have to revolve around him. That's it.
I don't disagree.
I think you can have Halo games that revolve around Chief. And
who's going to be making these games? Just 343? Like, who's
y'all
making
made your point?
343 should be making the RPG games that you're talking about. You think they got the chops to do that? They make a certain kind of
outsource.
Game. Let them
outsource
it. Yes. So let those outsource studios make the other Halo offshoots, and let 343 make the Halo main campaign.
We are going into outro because it's time for me to go. But before I go, I'll read a super chat, which is completely off this topic, and I did this on purpose just to swerve y'all. Don Otaku with a $5 super chat asks, "Did y'all talk about Nintendo's what is it? MEO? I want to hear y'all take on it." So while we're in the outro phase,
who is MEO? I've never heard of this person.
You should real quick go on Twitter and check out hashtag who is MEO and see what you get. It's the weirdest stuff I have ever seen. It's just anyway. So I'll give y'all a moment to do that. And while you're doing that, I'll say salute to the 340 people still here. A lot of y'all have been watching us and rocking with us for all 3 and some odd hours. We appreciate you. We see you in there, Black Skeleton. We see you in there, Black. It's good to see you, brother. Good to have you in the chat. I say thank you guys so much for being here. If you haven't done so, hit that like button. Consider being a subscriber. Remember, we love these kind of PG-13 slanderous conversations. And when the Black Viking brings forth such fire, we need to talk about it. We could talk about this thing for 2 more hours, I suspect.
I'm glad. I'm really happy about the conversation.
Thing from Nintendo?
It seems like a weird horror thing from Nintendo.
I wish I never looked that up because that just looks creepy. And the trench coat makes it worse. I feel like he's about to open it and show.
It's like this weird Slender Man thing they got going. You know,
Mario dog on or something. Yeah, it's just
weird. Like
you guys heard about this Long Legs movie with Nicolas Cage?
I heard it wasn't that scary. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
Actually, MJ Dark watched it. He said he appreciated it. He said he thought it was a good movie. He watched it this I think a couple days ago. But anyway, while we are in the outro phase, Black Viking, sir, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for writing. This is a call to everyone who wants to jump in the waters. If you have something to say, man, slanderous or otherwise, as long as you put it together in a certain way, I'll work with you. We'll put it on the site. You'll get a chance to speak your piece. Please, thank you so much for writing this article, Black Viking. Thank you for being on, for getting pelted by bullets, by shots from everybody.
Oh man, listen, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. No, it was a really productive. I think it was a productive conversation. I think it's a conversation that should be had, and I think that because we don't really have, until a trailer drops about Halo, we wouldn't have had a discussion like this. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm really happy that we all got to get together and have cordial conversation
where they can keep up with you, where they can catch you blowing the horns.
Yeah, man. Longhouse Gaming Podcast. We're on Tuesdays and Thursdays every week at 8 p.m. Eastern time. 2 hours. Me, Black Skellington, and Supernova. And sometimes we have guests, and we are a little crazy on there. So you'll hear these kind of hot takes on there, and plus a lot of joking and just talking game stuff, man. It's really good.
Absolutely. I love that show. I watch it every time I can, either live or on video on demand. Y'all do a good show up there, man. It's real cool to have you here. It's always excellent to have you part of the show. I'll go to Hargeet, sir. I'm still in the middle of the book. Actually, I'm towards the end of it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about the spoilers or anything like that. But maybe I'll get Everborn on this one. I know that Boom is also reading it. Maybe we all read it and do like a book club kind of podcast real quick and go over it. Tell the people where they can find you. Tell them where they can actually pick up a copy of that book. I want more people to read it because it's actually pretty darn entertaining for us gamers. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for reading it, and thank you for buying it. The book is Emergence. It's a sci-fi novel. Check it out. You can go to shop.shiny.us, and it'll link you direct to the pages on Amazon or Barnes & Noble and whatnot. If you want a signed copy, you can buy that there as well. There's merch if you like it. Try that out. You can also subscribe to my channel, Hargeet Shiny One, on YouTube, and I drop videos there. You can check it out. And then next I'll be up on Booms on Wednesday. We'll probably both be there. Sante. And Boom, indeed. He had a little bit of controversy. I don't know if you saw that nice little article that went out.
No, I don't want to talk about that article because people put me on Front Street that have nothing to do with me. But that's neither here nor there. Let's keep it moving. Yes,
anyway. Yes. So check that out on Wednesday on Double Barrel Gaming. We'll be there at 7 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Eastern.
Absolutely. And yes, slow-mo backslap, sir. You came here. You decided to be slanderous as you do. With your ridiculous waifu takes. Tell the fine people where they can find you. Keep up with your ongoing, sir.
You know, as I say in my outro, can you put me on the big screen so that people can see the icon? Because I want people to see this, okay? Because it's not that ridiculous.
Wrong one. Okay, wrong one. Hold on. Where am I? This is the one. Why won't it show me? Keep showing me. What the hell? It's this one. There you go. Hold on. Let me do this. Solo. There you go. Solo. There you go. There it is.
Okay, look. See, you see that? You see Chief holding hands with a fine young thing. Like y'all know y'all see the vision here. Okay, like don't act like I'm the only one. It doesn't matter. I planted the seed. It will happen eventually. Life is Halo. That's what it's going to be. Okay. So anyway,
first, this or CEG catching on slow-mo? Which one? What do you think?
Wow.
Definitely this, because CEG is never catching on. That's
We'll
you and four guys.
We'll have some weird fantasies about your Master Chief. Yeah, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Hold on, wait a minute. This is the same guy that was mad at Halo Season 1 because of Master Chief, and now you want a dating simulator? I will not have it, sir. I will not have it.
Let's just point something out real quick. Y'all know Slow-Mo's a Destiny stan, so this is just him trying to destroy the Halo franchise. I'm gonna leave it.
A Destiny stand. Now I'm upset, Pixel. How dare you? You know I'm not. can do my outro. I just want to do my outro. I feel.
Go ahead.
I feel as my talking points have been misrepresented. I think you all know this would be an awesome side project, not main project. I'm not saying turn Master Chief into a Persona game. I'm just saying, give it a shot. You might get some people into the IP. Anyway, Damage Per Second podcast. I do that with my homie Gamer Forte. When he is awake, we do this podcast on Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Slandering the man, brother. What are you doing?
Oh no, he sleeps all the time. But I love the brother. I love him. Every now and then we have a guest, but usually it's just the two of us, having a good time talking about games that we play and gaming news. And we will definitely discuss this topic about Life is Halo. That's going to be on the next show. But yeah, we got our own YouTube channel. Go check that out. And appreciate being on it once again, Kay and Everborn. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend and enjoy your games, man.
Thank you, sir. And Pixelbit G, sir, you jumped in. You had to have the lore master. What do you think? What do you think?
My ears kind of go up when I start hearing incorrect Halo takes, but not that many of you had some other outside of the Reach thing, but I'm on shows every now and again. I'll be on Dragon's Den probably soon again. We had a good time on there. So
Halo is strange.
See, Slow-Mo does not stop. That's what I love that dude. He doesn't stop.
From Umbra, Halo dating evolved.
Oh he's the kid in the classroom with the dart, and he just spit dart all day. That's Slow-Mo.
Oh my god!
He doesn't stop. You hit in your neck, he just keeps doing it. So, but
dating evolved. Halo is strange.
Yes, that's it. Umbra.
All right,
thank you. That is the title.
As long as they get somebody who looks like Kay Asante to be in it as well, since he want to add on, by all means, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers, guys, man. Nice being you, Game Logic, man. Good stuff, bro. All right, y'all.
And speaking of the great Game Logic, sir, thank you for being here. You try to keep us on the straight and narrow. You're speaking the facts, and these people just going completely ridiculous, man. I appreciate you being here. Needless to say, tell the people where they can keep up with you, and I know you do some shows. Tell the folks where they can find that.
Nobody needs to find me. I'm going to take my time to get up on my soapbox, so I apologize about that, TKO.
Please.
So, we have, all of us don't move in the same circles, right? We've got people from DPS here. We've got people from BRAP here, your podcast, Boom 6 podcast. This has been a great conversation, particularly fueled by Black Vikings article. And one of the things I want to mention while I'm on my soapbox is I often talk about how so much of the gaming conversation is done in support of fan service. And very little of it, less and less of it since the early 2000s, is oriented around thought-provoking conversation, causing people to deep think, causing people to raise up nuances and deep details that people don't often consider. And so I'll mention, unfortunately I didn't get the chance to shout out Black Viking while he was here, but Black Viking, Pixelbit G, like I often express opinions that do not agree, right, with some of the things that they mention. But here's a great example of somebody who wrote a thought-provoking article that caused people to come off a top dead center and think about something outside the box. We were all able to gather in here from the different circles that we circulate in, right, via YouTube and Twitter, and have a conversation about it with, joking, fueled by slow-mo, but without it devolving into shouting, screaming insults, name calling, right, and a lot of the stuff that we see going on other places. This is the example of the gaming conversation that I seek out and try and feed and try and push on Twitter, and less of the, this is my box, this is that, your box. We got PC elitists in here, right? But I mean, we're all able to come together and keep it gaming and talk about something that's been centric to gaming, and it's been great.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you. I agree. And this is what we seek out. Like, we try, we could spend all day talking about price increases and this and that, but as Everborn and I have said in the past when we first initially built this, we want them evergreen topics that no matter when you go to it, no matter when you're happening to listen to it, it is interesting to you and it'll be entertaining to you, and it won't matter when you happen to listen to it, it still resonates and it's still relevant, and we seek those out, right? So you'll get more topical conversation from us about what's going on in the world of gaming today. But we lean heavily as much as we can on these kind of conversations that really can elevate all of our thinking in this space and have a good time and enjoy it. So I appreciate you being here, being a part of it. This was awesome. Mr. Everborn Saga, sir, any last word before we get out of here? Where can people keep up with your ongoings? Are you going to have another one of those sessions where you teach the people how to game? Actually, how to build games, I should say.
I wouldn't call it teaching so much as watching me fumble around trying to figure it out myself, but we can do that together.
Hey man, if you got the flashlight, people can follow you in the dark. It's fine.
It's the we have a specific channel in the GCP Discord called Game Dev Live, and I try to, whenever I'm working on the game, I haven't done so recently, although I did do this yesterday. I just try to do it live, and then I just kind of work through my problems and try to explain what I'm thinking and how I'm going to accomplish it, and we kind of go from there. Although it usually like I'm coding the whole time, but the conversation usually diverges.
Turns into another GCP episode. Yes, I know,
exactly.
I know.
So we have a fun time in there, but you've got to be a member of the Discord to see this, because I don't do this on YouTube, but I do it live, screen share on the GCP channel, and it is in the chat if you want to be a part of the Discord membership. If you are a member of the channel, you automatically get connected into the Discord as a VIP member. So shout out to all the members. Shout out to MASH for granting so many memberships once again. Awesome. Thank you so much. But you could just hit that invite button and become part of the Discord, so you can check out the show when he puts it on. But continue, Everborn, please. And the other thing is the Kickstarter is coming up very, very soon. We're trying to time it with Comic-Con, which again we will be on the main floor for the first time with the Everborn Saga, booth 2039. So come check us out thank you, sir. If you're in the New York area, come check us out. But we're gonna time the Kickstarter to go with the show. So look at that soon. I'm gonna start put up the follow page so people can follow the Kickstarter, and Kickstarter will see that. And hopefully for the third time out of 3, we will get the projects we love again, and we can make this thing be something bigger. And again, soon I'm going to be giving builds out of the game once I fully add controller support, but this is not for public consumption. It's just for people who are interested in following along in my process. So that's it. You guys know where to find me. And so do not make a Halo isekai. Sorry.
No. Let's not do that. As for me, you can catch me. Obviously, I'll be on Boom's show on Wednesdays. These days, when I'm not working and I'm not doing anything else, I'm very close to getting a Patreon off the ground. You'll hear more information about that from me soon enough. Try to work some of the visual elements of it right now. But you can also catch me, and we're going to Ouroboros ourselves a little bit, watch ourselves live on the gamingcircle.com, where we're writing a bunch of articles, and actually where we are live right now. See, you can see us right in there. Hey, say hi, everybody. Anyway, you can catch me there. That's where all the shows get aggregated. You can see all the past episodes get aggregated there. If you happen to click the blog section, you can catch the great Black Vikings article, as well as many articles that we've been posting up there. More to come, and this is me listening to what the wise man once said, not letting perfection be the enemy of good. So I'm just throwing it out there, and we're gonna tune it as we go. It's gonna get better, possibly switch content management systems, whatever. We're just gonna keep going, keep throwing some articles out there, and one day maybe you'll see this thing stand alongside the greats as they are today. But thank you guys so much for being here. You can also catch myself and the great John Wolf. I think he's in the chat. We will be on the Gamers Playground on Monday night with the close coming of the ROGLIX. I'm sure there'll be a lot of exciting talk from him and myself on that show this coming Monday. I'm also patiently awaiting my 1X Player Mini, so we're going to talk about that as well. Maybe if I get a chance at some point this weekend, I may put out that video of the testing and the review, the light mini review that I did for the Firestick TV. So be on the lookout for that on the channel. But besides that, I think we're done. It's been a great conversation. I was trying to do 2.5, and we just hit about 4 hours as we normally do. So there you go. Until next week, I hope y'all have a fun time with your gaming. Keep it gaming as we always do around here. We're trying to keep it cool and not all the ridiculous fighting on the community and whatnot. You know, go beef with Black Viking about his take on Halo, and also take Slow-Mo to task, because we don't need no Halo waifu situations up in here. So it's all good. Until next week, have a good one. Peace.
Halo.